It has been a whole lot of months since the last time we did this here. How about we all make some noise for Kevin Smith and Marc Bernardin? This is Fat Man Beyond, back at Scum and Villainy.
Merry Christmas and welcome to Fat Man Beyond. I'm Kevin Smith.
I'm Marc Bernardin.
Hey! It has been a fucking red hot minute. When was the last time? March. And ironically, I was still wearing this outfit. Absolutely lovely to be back here, man. Nice that we got to get one. Oh, look at Jeff's Kiss sticker. That fucking rocks. Nice that we get to do one before the end of the year live. In our home. When was the last? Was anybody at the last show in March? Put your hands together. Who wasn't at the last show? Put your hands together.
New people.
I know. Fucking A. Well, welcome,
meat.
kids. Fuck it. Hold on.
Oh, it's gonna be one of those nights.
Oh my God, that's so sweet. Are we sure it's vegan? Fuck it. It's not like there's fucking horse blood. Oh my God, man. We're ready to fucking hang out. We're ready to dive deep, kids. Talk about the culture that pops and all the things that make us fucking happy. We're not doing a year-end movie list, are we?
No, we're gonna save that for the top of the year.
Okay.
I gotta watch more shit.
Yeah, I used to feel that way when I was younger, but now there's just so much fucking shit. I'm like, if I miss it, I miss it. Like, it makes me sad, but I've come to grips with it. I'm 54 years old, and there's more things in life to be sad about. But I used to be able to consume all pop culture and all media, and now not at all. I fall so hard behind. My wife last night was like, maybe we should watch Stranger Things. I was like, it's too late. Keep running. Like, fuck it. Can't look back. Too long. Fuck it.
I was talking to my wife before, and she's like, does Kev go to the movies anymore? I was like,
tell her Kev owns the movies now.
Yes. Does he go? No. Does he make an appearance? Yes.
Yes. I haven't, let me see. What was the last thing I saw in a theater out here? I don't know, but most of the stuff I do wait and see back at Smod Castle Cinemas in Atlantic Highlands, New Jersey. I think the first time I go back next year is January 18th. We're doing a Stan Lee thing. Oh. And we'll be giving out, when you buy a ticket, a Stan Lee cup. But not like those fucking heavy ones, like one that we made that Nate did the design for, man. We're finally getting it out there in the world. So I fuck with that movie theater all the time. But like even Wicked. You saw that in the theater?
I did, yes.
I saw it in my theater. It was all right. And then I watched it again on the Oscar app. Remember they used to send out DVDs? Mm-hmm. Now there's just a website that you go to.
Well, one of us goes to, because one of us is in the fucking academy. I'm not. No, it's fine. Like, I just never made a movie. They don't invite just schmucks into the academy. You got to make a thing. That's okay. I'm in the WGA. We have an app that's like lesser than.
But you get to watch it.
I watched, we just got the Gladiator 2 screening link.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. If you haven't seen Gladiator 2, don't. But.
Did you watch it?
Oh, yeah. But there's 20 great minutes of Denzel Washington. It's in full Dame Edna mode. Where he's like, I'm going to be here for 20 minutes. I'm going to eat every inch of the scenery. And I'm going to get a fucking nomination and go home. He's in his own goddamn movie.
He's not in the rest of the movie? It's just
he's in Gladiator 2 as much as Michael Keaton is in Beetlejuice 2. Wow. Which is literally like 18 minutes.
Right.
But it's a good 18 minutes.
I'll check. I mean, I would watch for that. I would definitely watch that on an
it's
app.
built for that.
It was not one of those movies that was like calling to me. I enjoyed the first one, but I only saw it once. Some people, it was religion and shit. For me, I'll catch that at home. I did fucking love Wicked, though. I mean, I love the Broadway show, but my God, the movie is just so fucking big and stunning and beautiful. And I remember when we were making, years ago, we were making Cop Out, and the producer, Mark Platt, is the producer of that play, of the show, of many movies, and of Wicked as well. So I'd seen it way back then. And I was like, when are you going to do that as a movie? And he's like, oh, not for years, not for like 2 decades. And I was like, what? And he was like, yeah, the idea is like you run the show until the money starts dipping. You know, and Wicked ran for like 20 years, and I guess like, you know, just started doing this slightly. And he's like, that's when you do the movie, because it renews the interest. Now, this is something that dude said 20 fucking years ago. I just realized, like, they split that thing in 2 parts, right? Like, the Broadway show is basically, there's Wicked Part 1, Wicked Part 2. So that means that there are a bunch of cats who've not seen the Broadway show or seen some live production of it, for whom Wicked is just the movie. And right now, it's at the Empire Strikes Back part, where they're like, what's going to fucking happen next? The brilliance is that a bunch of cats will be like, oh, do you want to know what happens next? Come to the fucking show. And sales are up again. Like, it just did 2 million last week. Like, it's such a smart fucking business plan and stuff. But you could see it happening. So if you're out there and you've got one of those kids, it's like, I got to see Wicked too. And, you know, it's like a year away. You can kind of see the end of it. You know, not with that cast, obviously, but you can go to Broadway and see the end of it. That's fucking smart. We got to do something like that. Split up half this fucking show. And then, like, make people go to another fucking place to see it.
All right, JC, next year, we're just like half a show. Then we're going to go in the back alley and do the other half a show. And you got to pay extra for the second half. Sorry.
Alley tickets.
Yeah.
Back alley show? Fuck yeah. I've been on the road, man. I was out there doing shows. This is my last live show before Christmas. And then after this, before the end of the year, I go to Phoenix and do shows there at Stand Up Live. But I've been out in the world. I went to Salt Lake City, Denver, Colorado, and I was just in Portland, Oregon, doing stand-up shows. So I went to Salt Lake City. And first show I did, like, I wound up kind of giving a half Q&A, but then the rest of the shows I just kind of did a 90 to 2 hours just talking. So the first show during Q&A, there was I was talking about, you know, when I'm in a foreign place and whatnot, trying to find vegan food is sometimes tough. But Salt Lake City, I put in my app, my Happy Cow app, and they had plenty of fucking vegan options.
Happy Cow?
That's the name of the app. Makes sense. Like, for a vegan, you want to keep the cow happy, you don't eat it. So Happy Cow.
See, the happiest cows are the one in my belly.
Yes. That's Happy Mark.
Yes, that's what they taste best.
Enter your coordinates and it'll tell you like where the nearest fucking vegan restaurant is and stuff. Salt Lake City had a surprising amount of vegan restaurants for it being Salt Lake City. But the one that surprised me the most was they had a satanic vegan restaurant called Mark of the Bistro. So I was on stage talking about it. I was like, fucking, they got a satanic vegan restaurant here. And a girl stands up and she's like, hey, come visit my coffee shop. And I said, I don't drink coffee. She goes, it's in a desanctified church. And I was like, you have my attention. I said, what the fuck's that all about? She's like, it's a satanic coffee shop. And I was like, what is with you people, man? And they're like, fucking Mormons. Like, you know, that's the culture. So the counterculture pushes real hard into like the devil. And it seems more ironic than anything else. So I was like, I'm fucking totally going to that coffee shop tomorrow. So I go to the coffee shop. I can't wait, man, because I'm like, oh, my God. Desanctified church, satanic coffee shop. It's going to be like an orgy. Fucking cocks, pussies, cum everywhere and shit. Just fucking coffee, man. It was literally just a coffee place, clean as fuck and whatnot. But it had a great name. It's called Hallowed Grounds. Pretty fucking good, right? So,
I might be here for the punnery.
You know what I'm saying?
In Salt Lake City.
Pretty good. So I didn't want any coffee. I don't drink coffee. So I was like, I got to buy something. So I bought a T-shirt for my kid, and I bought a coffee mug. So the coffee mug I thought was very funny because it was ridiculous. Now, you're familiar with the coffee mug sentiment, don't talk to me until I've had my coffee. Mm-hmm. As fucking hack as Garfield's like, I hate Mondays and shit like that. So this was a coffee mug. On one side, it said hallowed grounds. On the other side, it said, don't talk to me until I've had my abortion. Jesus. Now, I didn't take it as serious. There was no fucking literature. It didn't seem like propaganda. It just seemed like, hey, we're the Satanic Coffee Shop. What's the most fucked up mug we can sell? And, you know, they won. Fucking holy shit, they won. For a guy who was raised in the 70s with, like, you know, dead baby jokes and shit like that, that was a big part of our childhood. You know.
What's this hour shit, white man?
You didn't get him?
No.
East Coast, like, fucking, how many dead babies does it take, ... You didn't have that?
Nah, not in the hood, man. We're not worried about dead babies.
We had, I guess, like being...
Keeping the girls off the pole and keeping Croc out of the house.
I guess in the world of privilege, they're like, you know, what's so outlandish? We can joke about it. They're like, oh, yeah, dead babies. So there were a lot of dead baby jokes when I was a kid. This mug, to me, was just like a dead baby joke. Like, fucking, don't talk to me until I've had my abortion. So I gave it to my wife. She's like, that's hysterical. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to fucking put a picture on Instagram. What a mistake. I took a picture of myself, like, drinking from the mug so you could see the fucking thing. And I didn't put up anything that was like, hey, man, fucking, this is how I feel about the subject. No remote inclination about my political leanings, although, you know, if you've seen the movies, you pretty much fucking know and stuff. But nothing in there, nothing going like, hey, man, fuck everybody and shit. Just like I wrote, I thought this mug was hysterical.
Not like this cup is full of choice? You didn't do anything?
No! Like, if I could see if I did that and a bunch of people being like, fuck your choice. But it was just like funny mug, right? There it is. Nothing controversial about it, man. Oh my God, they went after me so fucking hardcore. There was one lady, I mean, the heartfelt one was like, I can't believe the director of my favorite movies in the 90s is making fun of religion. And I was like, I made Dogma. Like, what are you talking about? It's like, in the 90s, that's what I'm known for. There was shit that was like, are you drinking dead babies out of that cup? To which I was like, I'm vegan. There were people that were like, how can you champion abortion? Which I did no fucking such thing, man. But they took that joke so fucking seriously. There was one person that said, you know, saw the mug and it said, fucking, don't bother me until I've had my cup of abortion, whatever the fuck. One guy wrote, your daughter should have been one. And I wrote, my daughter should have been a coffee mug? Fuck you. Bro, what a mistake, man. There were a bunch of people. The tamest sentiment I got was people going, read the fucking room. But again, it wasn't me making any sort of political statement. I was like, it is funny. Some people didn't think so, Mark. Not at all.
You know, I also like that Harley is just out here catching strays.
Yes. She said that to me. She's like, fuck you. Now I'm catching shit. I was like, hey, man, fucking shit rolls downhill. One day, this is all yours, so fuck you. It was wild, man. It was kind of wild. I learned a thing.
That's why I don't leave LA, man.
Like, you're not kidding. But I did post it from LA. So
I mean, also nobody invites me anywhere, but that's also why.
Yeah. What you been up to?
Not that.
Wisely. Absolutely wisely.
Now I've been working, man. I got a fucking job that I can't talk about. I'm sorry. It's I know. It's part of the, you know, we do this. What? Thanks.
One
person
one lone note of support.
You're like, ooh, you being gainfully employed. Fuck you. Thank you very much.
Is this a recent job? Is this a job I know about?
It's a recent job. It started like 2 weeks ago.
Do I know about it or no?
Yeah, I think so, but it doesn't matter to you because you're not that kind of person. You have to be a very specific kind of geek to give a shit about this job.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, no. But this is a cool job.
It's a cool job. It will have me employed for a good long while. So now I don't care if you go on the road because I'm employed. I don't have to wait for you to do fucking podcasts. Go ahead. Go to your other family.
Don't fucking take it personally, for heaven's sakes. I, too, have been working on stuff, and I, too, am working on stuff that I can't talk about right now. But it is very exciting, and it's looking very good for things in the future. But there's a thing that I'm literally working on. I was working on right before I came here writing that I'm having a blast fucking writing. It is a comic book crossover that we're going to do with my label, Secret Stash Press, which is a dark horse, and another comic book imprint. And I can't announce it yet. They want to announce it after the beginning of the year. And it'll probably be out by Comic-Con.
What if I guess?
Don't. But I've been having such a good time doing it. My characters and some other companies' fucking characters. And it's been a good time. And next year, there's going to be a lot of comic book stuff. I wrote 4 new issues of Quick Stops that are going to drop next year as well. So, yeah, it's fucking good times, man. And then there's this TV thing I'm working on, which I can't wait to talk about if it goes forward. But it's looking fucking good, knock wood. And forward momentum on both Store Wars, Jay and Silent Bob Store Wars, and Moose Jaws as well. So,
Moose Jaws.
Yeah, that was shocking. I can't fucking believe, but, fucking a broken fucking watch is right twice a day. So fucking same thing with Moose Jaws. Sooner or later, I've been trying to do it for 10 years. Sooner or later, somebody was going to be like, all right, fucking shut up here. And that's where we are.
One of my favorite parts of the cruise was the live reading of half an hour of Moose Jaws.
Yeah, we read the first 30 pages.
Where I got to play a rapper. Because I think I was the only black dude on the ship.
Yeah.
So somebody had to.
It was, yeah, man. It was a bit of.
It was a good time.
It was. We were like, who could play this part?
And then I made the bold interpretive decision to read it like Matt Berry from What We Do in the Shadows.
Yes.
It was a lot of, I'm a rapper. Where are my bitches at? It was a lot of that, which was a good time.
And as the director, I was like, he's never getting hired again.
Like, this is my chance.
It was
I'm
an
getting a wow.
excellent fucking choice.
All right, should we do an ad? We'll go further.
Yes, let's do an ad.
Let's do an ad. We're excited about ads. Yeah?
To all the folks who've joined us from home, welcome and shit. And just so you know, this ain't AI. This is a real audience. Folks, put your hands together so the folks at home know you're real. Oh, we're going to have good times, kids. We got shit to give away. We got news to fucking do. We got Q&A to do. We got guests tonight.
I know.
It's going to be a packed fucking show, man. Hopefully you brought your hemorrhoid cream because nobody going anywhere for hours. You just sit on your ass with piles. But speaking of which, who's our first ad?
I mean, odds are it would have something to do with your ass.
Yes.
But it doesn't, though. It's Lumen.
Oh, the good folks at Lumen,
the good
man.
folks at Lumen.
Give it up for the good folks at Lumen, our first sponsor tonight.
Lumen is the world's first handheld metabolic coach. It's a device that measures your metabolism through your breath. And on the app, it lets you know if you're burning fat or carbs, gives you tailored guidance to improve your nutrition, workouts, sleep, and even stress management.
You rock this Lumen?
Yeah, J.C.
J.C.?
Tell us about your
BAMF
lungs.
Man comes in. Hey, everybody, it's BAMF Man.
I did some Lumen. It's pretty cool. If you're like me and you're like, oh, I got to do it 20 times a day to collect all the data.
Right.
It has a really cool, soft, plush carrying case, so it fits in your pocket really nice and easy.
Did you fuck your Lumen?
I didn't.
That was a lot of soft talk.
But,
It fits in your pocket
but
nice.
Yeah, it tucks right in.
Or you let your Lumen fuck you, is what you're saying. That's fine.
Yeah, the Lumen was really cool. I like data. I like treadmills that talk to my phone. I like everything going into Apple Health and showing me everything that's going on. And Lumen just gives you all the data. Tells you when you're burning carbs. Tells you when you're burning ketones. The whole thing.
All you have to do is breathe into your Lumen first thing in the morning, and you'll know what's going on with your metabolism, whether you're burning mostly fats or carbs. When I breathed into the Lumen, it told me that I was dead. Because I couldn't keep the thing in the little dot because I'm not in good shape. That's what I discovered. My metabolic health was not.
I used my Lumen. I blew a 2.0. They pulled me over, took my license away and shit like that. Your metabolism is your body's engine. It's how your body burns the food you eat and keeps the fuel that keeps you going.
Because your metabolism is at the center of everything your body does, optimal metabolic health translates to a bunch of benefits, including easier weight management, improved energy levels, better fitness results, better sleep, and so on and so forth. So, if you want to stay on track with your health this holiday season, go to lumen.me/fatman to get 15% off your Lumen. That's lumen.me/fatman for 15% off your purchase. Lumen makes a great gift, too, fellas, because y'all motherfuckers haven't bought anything yet. I know, because I haven't either. So thank you, Lumen, for sponsoring this episode.
We give it up to the good folks at Lumen for sponsoring this here episode.
We
and
love
many
you,
more. We love you, Lumen.
I also think Lumen, if you have one of those HSA health savings accounts, I think that Lumen counts towards that.
Ooh.
So you can get it for less taxes if you pay out of the...
I can tell you read that right off the copy right there. Get it for less taxes, says BAMF Man. All right, before we have to do another ad, let's do something else.
All right. I went to the movies.
What'd you see?
I saw Craven the Hunter.
Oh, shit. That is the this week's artwork by the great Dark Nate Gonzalez. Look at that shit. Mark has Craven himself. I get to be Rhino. We'll be giving those out with winning questions tonight.
Indeed.
Yes.
If you haven't seen Craven the Hunter, you're not alone, because nobody went to go see Craven the Hunter.
Yeah, open to like $11 million or
$11
something.
million, the lowest grossing of any of these Sony Spider-Verse movies.
That's like fucking Kevin Smith money right there, man. Fuck, I wish I could open to $11 million bucks. Yeah, that's what I aspire to. Fuck Craven, Kevin.
I am not going to detail the many and sundry ways in which this movie is awful. I will say it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
The director is good, man. J.C. Chandor has made a lot of good flicks.
He's made some good movies. And like, the problem with this movie is that it's almost good. In that, almost every scene has a fucking Oscar winner in it. Russell Crowe, Ariana DeBose are both acting Oscar winners. So like, they're kind of all over the place. They're all bad, but they have Oscars. And it's almost like the plot of the movie is not awful. It's Russell Crowe plays a Russian mobster who has these two kids. They go to boarding school. Their mom passes away under mysterious circumstances. And so he pulls them out of school and says, we're going to go on a hunt, because that apparently is the Russian mobster way of processing grief, is to kill things. But it's a story of fathers and sons, right? Like one of these sons chafes against his father, like dislikes the way his father treats him, doesn't really like hunting apparently. The other son is a bit of a weakling who kind of begins to idolize his dad. And that's a movie. That's a fucking Russian opera if you needed it to be. Then they add fucking lions. And like there's like 2 magical Negro ladies, which is like probably one too many magical Negro ladies.
Could have used one of those on the cruise.
Seriously, come on, help me out. And so, like, again, this scene is ridiculous. If you've seen the movie, don't ever see the movie. And no chance of that at this point. But so, like, there's a scene and it's a flashback. They're like, here's Craven hunting fucking prison inmates in the Russian gulag. 16 years earlier, literally the second scene of the movie, it's a deep flashback to fucking kids in the Serengeti. They cut to this conversation between the old magical Negro lady and her granddaughter. And the old magical Negro lady is like, hey, let's do a tarot card reading, because you do that with grandkids all the time. And she's like, this is the card for bullshit, and this is the card for bullshit, and this is the card for strength. And the strength card has a lion on it, which is important because there's a lion later. And then she's like, oh, by the way, this vial is filled with like tequila and herbs and magic. And she gives it to the granddaughter for no fucking reason. Meanwhile, here comes these 3 white people just treasure hunting in the Serengeti. One of them gets bitten by a lion. Why? Unclear. These are the most unseasoned white people, so why a lion is after them, I'm not sure. And so the lion bites one of these boys, drags him over into the woods, doesn't eat him because they had a moment of eye contact, right? They're like fucking mano a mano. Most of this movie is also Beastmaster. If you've ever seen Beastmaster,
oh shit,
that's the best version of this movie. So, lion drags the white boy off into the veldt, which is a word I learned. And then the granddaughter of the magical Negro lady hops off of her little van and finds the boy who's been punctured by lions. There's a close-up of the puncture wound in Sergei Kravenov's chest, and one drop of blood, one fucking lion drop of blood, lands like a fucking Robin Hood arrow into the boy's open wound. This is a regular-ass lion, though. It's not a magic lion. It's not a radioactive lion.
He's not a radioactive lion?
No, it didn't grow up next to, like, 3 Mile Island. Just a fucking lion. Just, like, Disney would have songs about this lion. It's just a regular-ass lion. But she sees this boy almost dying. She's like, oh, a tarot card told me that strengthen lions, and here have my magic voodoo juice. That's how you get a Craven the Hunter, apparently, is you give a boy who's got 1 drop of lion blood a vial of magical voodoo juice, and suddenly he has lion powers and also hawk powers, maybe? Because there's moments when he, like, sees shit from really far away. Yes!
I'm afraid it's been done.
I know. It's a remake of fucking...
in the comics, he doesn't have any power. He's just a hunter.
He's just a hunter.
World's greatest hunter, yeah.
Right, and so 16 years later, he is now a like, Russian criminal hunter, also activist for animal rights, in a way, I guess, potentially.
Not a bad guy.
Well, if you're a Russian mobster, then yeah, he's the villain. But if you're just like a water buffalo somehow living in Russia, he's the hero.
When does he fight Spider-Man?
Never. If that's what you showed up for, I'm sorry. You're going to be woefully disappointed.
I read an article this week that said Sony could have used Spider-Man in any of these movies. They just chose not to. It was a real, like, fucking Wizard of Oz. Like, you could have used Spider-Man anytime. Just click your heels together.
Yeah.
But they literally, it wasn't like everyone assumed that, you know, Disney was like, or Kevin Feige was like, no, man, don't fuck it. Spider-Man can't be in those.
Yeah.
They just didn't choose to put him in them, which to me would have made the most obvious sense. Even if it was like 1 scene per movie, you tell a whole background story, and then in the end, they fight Spider-Man. It's predictable, but who gives a shit? Like the fact that it's Spider-Man villains, you would imagine somebody would want to see Spider-Man pop up somewhere.
It is the same argument that every kid in chess club used for why they're a virgin, by choice.
Yeah, truly.
Man, I'm just beating them away. I don't know what to say. This is my decision.
I've since seen, I don't know if this is true, but they're talking about maybe we just cast a different Spider-Man for these movies that's not Tom Holland.
Because I'm sure Tom Holland was like, fuck your Morbius. I'm not coming anywhere close to this shit.
Really? Like, even if they were like, yeah, but Tom.
I mean, maybe.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what does he get for a Spider-Man movie, you think? 10, 20?
At this point, probably between 20 and 25 is my guess.
I just would have been like, all right, I will do 1 scene in Morbius. I got to win, but pay me $10 million. 1 day work.
I mean, I'd do it.
Right?
Of course, I was also fucking when I was in chess club, so that's just me.
BAMF Man.
What about Andrew Garfield?
Again.
That guy wants it back.
Any one of them. Even a brand new Spider-Man. It just never made sense that... I like everyone, I assumed that Disney was like, you can't put Spider-Man in these terrible Spider-Man movies. But Sony was like, no, we're just not going to do it because that would probably help.
It's like Nicholas Hammond keeps fucking calling us. He's like, I'll do it. I'll do it. If you don't know, Nicholas Hammond
played
was the star
Spider-Man.
of the 1978 Spider-Man television show.
Who was also...
Once
So
Upon a Time in
long,
Hollywood.
farewell.
Was he a fucking Nazi boy?
He was one of the kids. He was one of the Von Trapps.
He was a wee Nazi boy.
Yeah, man.
That's why he doesn't talk about that so much. But he's also in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He's the director of the Western that Leo DiCaprio's in.
Is that right?
Yeah. He's like, I want you to be ragged, and I want energy, and I want Hamlet. It's Hamlet. That's Nicholas Hammond.
Fucking A, man.
Yeah. Glad I stopped the show for that. So, to sum up, don't see Craven unless you're craving a good time.
How is Kick-Ass, his performance?
Yeah. Fine, although he has almost nothing to do but take his shirt off, which, if I had those abs, I would also not wear a shirt ever.
He's in the trailer for 28 Years Later, right?
Yes.
And he's also, isn't he in Nosferatu?
He is, which is the other movie that I saw,
He's
which
gonna
is a
do
weird
fine.
whipsaw of like Craven and Nosferatu.
Right.
It's like, why is Craven in fucking Germany in like 1873? Wearing a suit. Where's your fucking abs, Craven?
What, did you stay for the end? Was there an after credit scene or no?
It was basically just like Matthew Broderick saying, go home. Just, there's nothing left.
Was Chameleon in it?
Yeah. Listen, now you're going to make me talk about the rest of this fucking movie because none of it makes any sense.
Right.
But 2 times in this movie, there's a character who says, I went to New York and I spoke to a doctor who gave me fucked up DNA, so now I'm either the Rhino or Chameleon. Okay. She's a fucking doctor. Like Botox shots?
Yes.
Fucking blue milk. And weird DNA experiments. That's all this doctor does.
Was it Alessandro Nivola who became the Rhino?
Yeah, who is in a completely different movie. He's the Denzel of this movie. In that, he's completely doing something else that nobody else is doing, making choices nobody else would make. There's a scene where somebody tells him that he's on Craven's list.
Right.
Right? Craven the fucking hunter has a list, like Santa. And so he's standing against a fucking, like a bar or something. And he just goes, "Ah! The hunter's after me now?" Literally, that's the fucking scene. That's the choice. Weird ass scream out of nowhere. And I just like, yeah, man, do that. That's a decision to make. And I remembered him from Face Off because he's Nick Cage's brother in Face Off. An infinitely better movie in every way than Craven the Hunter.
Marc Bernardin took a bullet for y'all, kids. Give it up for Mark. He saw Craven.
Yes! Don't do it. Don't do it.
How was Nosferatu?
I'm not going to spoil Nosferatu because it's not out yet. It hasn't hit theaters. I'm going to say this. Bram Stoker's widow, Bram Stoker, the author of Dracula, sued to make sure that nobody would ever see Nosferatu, claiming that it was a ripoff. And she won. So, if you've ever seen a Dracula movie, you've seen a Nosferatu movie. It's the same story. So same that she lady sued over it. It's an impeccably well-made movie.
Right.
Like Robert Eggers does not fuck around.
Right.
He's like the Wes Anderson of genre directors in that everything is so like production designed within an inch of its life. Every shot is beautiful. The atmosphere is amazing. The photography is phenomenal. But it's also, to me, kind of emotionally distant and remote.
Right.
In the same way that I feel about Wes Anderson movies, which they're gorgeous, but I'm never really invested in any of the character stories. I have friends who love this movie to death, like deep horror nerds who love it to death. And I can 100% understand how. It just didn't hit me that way. I just don't respond to this particular filmmaker. But like, if this is your jam, if this is your like artisanal apricot marmalade, then spread it on everything. It is just not my jam. I'm a Smucker's dude. So like, give me that Bram Stoker shit. Give me that like Keanu Reeves and Vampire Brides and Gary Oldman doing weird ass shit and Renfield shit. All of that shit, give that part to me. This, a little less so. This, it's like he made The Northman. Did anybody see The Northman? Yeah. That's like, what if you made a Conan movie without any of the cool shit in a Conan movie, but where everybody's muddy all the time? That's The Northman. It's like, oh, but where's my fun? Where's like biting the vulture's neck so I can drink the blood while I'm mounted to a tree? Not doing that. We're doing like guys in sweat lodges just having visions of shit. Like, all right, that's a choice. It's a choice. So it's, for me, didn't work, but I can still respect the fuck out of it if not being transported by it.
Fucking A.
But your mileage may vary. Some of you may love it to death.
When's it comes out soon?
Christmas Day.
Oh, really?
The perfect present for you and your bunny family.
BAMF.
BAMF Man.
Did you see what NBC is selling from Nosferatu?
No.
A hand-carved $25,000 coffin bed.
NBC?
And on the NBC store, because it's
Like
got
the Peacock is selling
Peacock.
a coffin bed?
Yeah.
Because it's a Universal
I
film.
think it's a Universal movie. So if you guys love the movie, like Mark did, you could sleep in a bed that's like Nosferatu's resting spot in the movie.
So, again, if you haven't shopped for Christmas yet, do that then.
You could sleep there and then get buried in the Kiss coffin and give Gene Simmons about the same amount of money.
I was gonna say, like, that's close to the whole Kiss thing. Only very few people have pulled off like themed coffins. Yeah. Wow, man.
Yeah.
All right, Nosferatu, another one for you. I don't think I've seen anything. I watched The End of Lioness, which was awesome. I fell in love with that show. I don't think I saw, and then I watched Wicked, and then I watched Wicked at home as well. Yeah, no, I don't think I've seen anything. I was out on the road.
All right. That's fair. I've done all the heavy lifting.
You did, man. Give it up for Mark. He saw some fucking movies for you. Do we have to do another ad?
Yeah, let's do another ad.
We got another ad, kids.
You want to do this one?
Yeah, what do we got?
Perfect Gene.
The Perfect Gene, ladies and gentlemen. Give it up for the Perfect Gene, man. Kids, the air is frosty, my schedule's packed, and my fridge is stuffed, which means one thing. 'Tis the season for the Perfect Gene. Stretchy enough for second or even third helpings. Soft enough to go full couch potato. And stylish enough to wear every holiday gathering. The Perfect Gene are, well, perfect for all your winter activities. Is this holiday magic on Mark's ass? Or just a really well-written ad? Maybe it's both, but seriously, these jeans are something special. The Perfect Gene has saved 400,000 men's nuts from suffocating in stiff, uncomfortable jeans, and that number is going up every single day. These jeans will be your MVP for the holidays, man. They stretch enough to handle holiday feasts. They're comfy enough to wear during movie marathons or on football Sundays. And they're so cozy you'll forget you're wearing pants. Plus, they'll keep you looking sharp for every invite that lands on your calendar. You're wearing them right now?
I am.
You vouch for them?
They're cradling my nuts like a.
They make
like
a really
diaper.
a good piece of clothing, man, I'll tell you that much. If you want your nuts cradled, heavens. For a limited time, our listeners get 15% off their first order plus free shipping at theperfectgene.nyc. That's the THE, perfect, PERFECT, gene, JEAN.NYC. Or Google The Perfect Gene and use the code, what is our code? FATMAN at checkout. You're going to get 15% off. It's finally time to stop crushing your balls in uncomfortable jeans by going to theperfectgene.nyc. Our listeners get 15% off your first order plus free shipping, free returns, and free exchanges when you use the code FATMAN at checkout. That's 15% off for new customers at theperfectgene.nyc with promo code FATMAN15. Oh my God, it's actually FATMAN15. Why 15?
15% off.
It was right there. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent you, man. Fuck your khakis and get the Perfect Gene. We give it up for the good folks at the Perfect Gene. Excellent copy. Always excellent copy. All right, shall we?
We got a guest.
Is that what we're doing before news?
Yeah.
How much news you got?
Not that much.
Let's do news first, because then we can dive deep with the guest for a long time.
You want to do that?
You might as well.
All right.
And then we do the news, we do our last ad, and then we spend all the time in the world with our guests.
Fair enough.
You ready?
I am. I'm just.
Marc Bernardin's got the news, kids. He used to be a newsman and shit like that, but he gave it up. He still knows how to do it, but he's got the news for you. Give it up for Mark. He's got the news.
So this one threw me for a bit of a loop. What I wrote for the headline was Jabba the Hutt. Jeremy Allen White joins the cast of Mando and Grogu, playing Jabba the Hutt's son. Yeah.
Chip off the old block.
I mean,
is he playing a humanoid, or is he he's just the voice, or
he is literally
is he
the
going to puppeteer?
He's the voice of Rhoda the Hutt, the son of Jabba. I prefer to not think about Hutts procreating, but apparently Star Wars won't let me not think about it.
Yeah.
Because these motherfuckers have children. And nephews, I think, didn't Book of Boba Fett also have a bunch of like
there was a couple Hutts in there. So wait,
that's his nephew. Or
this
whatever.
is the son of
yeah.
Jabba the Hutt?
Yeah.
BAMF.
Hey.
I can make it a little bit better for you.
Do it.
Hutts reproduce asexually.
How do you know that?
Don't ask. I read it somewhere.
Not better.
It's Star Wars biology.
You're like, I jerked off thinking about it once, and it became my head canon. Both heads.
Yeah, Hutts are change genders throughout the course of their life and reproduce asexually.
Life finds a way.
Yeah. So Jabba's son, he just had immaculately?
Yes. Yeah. Well, it's like a worm, right? Worms reproduce asexually, I think, in like our planet.
Also, never thought that much about worm sex.
But once again, just a voice?
I probably, but I mean, he's a method guy, so maybe he's just on set. Yes, chef.
Yes, chef. Every second counts.
First appearance of Rada the Hutt was the Clone Wars movie from 2008 also. So we've seen him before.
Is that the first time?
Not the first time, but before he was like that big and animated.
Now he's just full on the bad guy maybe of this movie, or just a friend we made along the way.
If you're Rada the Hutt, how much do you hate the lady in the space bikini?
Oh, you gotta loathe her.
Right?
Yeah.
She killed my dad. Ah.
I look forward to this.
Fucking, we can get Alessandro Nivola to play it. Ah.
I look forward to the scene where they reshoot that scene from Jedi from a different angle, from a lower angle, from like a little tiny slug.
Little baby Rada angle.
Little baby Rada. He's just swirling his own jeans.
Papa.
He's like, oh no, not the chains, not that lady. Fuck that lady.
Papa Jabba.
Ita Buddha. Leia.
And he holds a grudge against Salacious Crumb, that little fucking thing, because he didn't do anything.
You did nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think we're on the way with a fucking Star Wars revenge movie, man. Yeah.
Just a slug's revenge.
What? Anybody know the plot? What's going on in this Grogu movie?
Yeah. Did anybody here know the most closely guarded secret of the?
Why are they closely guarding it? Like,
because this fucking Lucasfilm. They don't tell nobody nothing.
You know anything?
I mean, it's coming out before Ahsoka season 2.
Right.
So it's got to be. I mean, it's not like the wrap-up culmination of the Favreau-Filoni series, right? Because if Ahsoka's coming out next, so I have no idea.
If you don't know, nobody knows.
Truly. That's why we keep you fucking around. That's why we do the show at your fucking off-brand Star Wars bar. Wow, they are keeping it secret if you don't fucking know. I'm in. I like both of those characters. What an easy job for Pedro, though, huh? Like, he's not on set, right?
Almost.
Unless they're like, hey, man, take off your mask again. He's like, fucking again.
He's like, I saw what you did with Mark Hamill. Can't you just do that with me?
Truly.
I don't even have to show up.
I'm sure there was a call between Jeremy Allen White and Pedro Pascal. I was like, hey, man, do I have to ever be there? It's like, no.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever there.
Easiest job in the business.
The rumor of the week is that Barbie 2 is on the way.
But from Greta Gerwig or not?
From Greta Gerwig.
I thought she's just about to start Narnia.
She is, but, on the way can still mean like 6 years from now.
I would love that Barbie movie. I'll see another one.
But yes, the answer to whether there would be a sequel or not has always rested with Greta Gerwig and her partner, Noah Baumbach. And they said that they would only pursue a follow-up if they could find the story to support it. This isn't a Hollywood Reporter story. Mm-hmm. And Gerwig repeatedly stated, my North Star is, what do I deeply love? What do I really care about? What's the story underneath this story? If I can find the undertow, then we get it. If I don't find the undertow, then there's no more. And so apparently they found the undertow, and they're in early negotiations with Warner Brothers to come back to co-write, and then direct the sequel.
Is the undertow money? Because that's all they need to get me for. Is I ain't doing another one. They're like, we'll back up the money truck. Here comes 9 more.
We'll pay you some of that Tom Holland money.
Yeah, truly.
So if you liked Barbie, and I think both of us are on the record as having liked it quite a bit.
Wonderful flick.
You're going to get more. If you didn't like Barbie, sorry. You're going to get more.
I guess they're both coming back, of course. Margot
so.
and Ryan.
That, again, no deals are in place, but I can't imagine they even pursue it unless they're like, we got to have fucking Barbie back. But there are like a dozen Kens. So if Gosling wants to be difficult, I'm sure fucking Shooty Gatwa would be like, yeah, bring me back. I'll do it.
Could you imagine him being difficult? He's Canadian.
None of them are difficult.
He's a good boy. That's what he is.
They're the best boys. Let's see. And our last bit of news, I told you there wasn't much.
Yeah, it was a tiny bit of news.
I didn't lie when I said we had a couple pieces of news.
True.
Mike Flanagan. I didn't even say nothing yet. I just said the name.
Lovely, lovely dude.
I've never met him. I hear nothing but good things about him.
Really lovely dude. I mean, a sidebar story. I was in Vancouver at the Rio Theater doing a show, and first person that got up to do like a question during the Q&A was Mike Flanagan. He goes, hey man, my name is Mike Flanagan. And I was like, there's a filmmaker named Mike Flanagan. He goes, I am him. And you talked to me years ago and treated me like I was a professional, and that made all the difference. So I just wanted to say, like, thank you so much and blah, blah, blah. And, he's got a lot of fucking shows. So I was like, well, how about you hire me to direct? Payback, bitch. And still hasn't happened yet. So nice guy, but not that fucking nice. No, very nice. Also Canadian.
Also Canadian?
Yeah, I believe so.
We got to put a stop to them.
I think that's going to stop soon. Tariffs and shit.
Yeah, we're building a wall around everything. He had been on the record on Twitter, when we all used to go there, about having loved the idea of Clayface as one of the DC villains.
Yeah.
And it was...
Which Clayface? Matt Hagen or the other dude?
I think that...
He's doing Basil Karlo?
That one. He's making a Clayface movie.
I mean, look, I'll see what he does.
He's writing a Clayface movie.
Right.
There's no director attached yet. It's been dated. It's coming out, let's see, September 11th, auspicious day, 2026.
I mean, seriously?
Yeah. Well, you can't avoid every September 11th.
Fuck yeah, you can. They don't have a 13th floor in most buildings. Like, they defy logic because they're superstitious. That's weird.
I still got to take my shoes off at the airport because of September 11th.
True.
I mean, I don't because I have TSA pre-check, but people do.
Yeah.
First world problems.
So wait a second. He's going to do Clayface, like a Craven movie, but with Clayface.
Yeah.
Essentially, right?
Essentially.
Will they let Batman show up? Or even better, Spider-Man for one final fight in the end? Sony's like, ironically, we didn't want him in our fucking Spider-Man universe movies, but we're okay with him in Clayface. Yeah.
Unclear if a Batman or a Batperson will show up anywhere.
Come on, don't one scene, man. And none of this like bullshit at the end where it's like there's the light in the background. That was fine for Penguin, but you get that once, man. Fucking if they're gonna make the Clayface movie, he better show up by the end and punch him in the fucking mouth.
Tell him to go see Craven and learn their lesson.
Exactly, yeah.
There's no reports on Batman's presence or lack of.
You're hearing it here first.
It's coming. Just you wait.
I hope so. I hope one inclusion of a Batman scene.
All right. Man.
I know they made, a couple fucking Venom movies without Spider-Man, but, Tom Hardy's a pretty watchable fucking actor, and he brought something new to it, and Venom's a cool character. So there's a lot of reasons that, you can get away with that villain movie. Who would you cast as Clayface? I wish they were doing the other Clayface, though, like the big one from the animated series.
I mean, there's no reason they can't just split the difference, right?
Nate thinks it's going to be Basil Karlo, which is the actor guy.
I know, but, wasn't the other guy also an actor guy?
Yeah, but fucking he was like, the difference between the two is like, I fucking drank chemicals, blah. Second one's more of like a Marvel villain kind of thing.
Gotcha. If it's the young actor guy, I think Alessandro Nivola.
No!
Clay!
That's all the news we got.
That's all I told you, man.
Anybody else got any other news that we might have missed?
Anybody hear anything on the internet?
We need news, yes. Hold on, we got Nate. Go.
The Superman poster dropped, and then
The fucking Superman poster dropped. Did you see it?
I saw it.
What did you think?
It's a cool Superman poster.
There was talk about there's a piece of music. Is that score? And so who's doing the score? They didn't say? It's not like Michael Giacchino or something like that?
Hans Zimmer. I don't know.
Well, it sounded like a variation of the Hans Zimmer theme a little bit.
I thought it was a variation of the John Williams. John Murphy.
John Murphy's doing the score? Yeah. So
are you John Murphy? I'm doing the score.
Trailer drops on Thursday.
Yes.
That's a Christmas gift.
Hope so.
You looking forward to it?
I mean, I'm always looking forward to a chance to get Superman right.
Seems like a lot of buzz on the internet, like positive buzz. People happy.
Yeah, just please. Please, please, please.
Yeah. All right, what else besides Superman poster? What is it?
Oh, Chris Evans is back.
Huge. What the fuck? That's huge news. That's right. They announced that Chris Evans is coming back, but not obviously as Captain America. They made that very clear.
Did they?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's coming back as Nomad.
I mean, he's coming back as Steve Rogers. He's been Nomad already. Like,
they never said he was Nomad. And if you ask the Russo brothers, like, that was Nomad adjacent. But is he going to be a good Nomad or a bad Nomad?
Unclear. He's going to be fun Captain America because the same way Tony Stark at some point will be Iron Man again.
Yeah.
Fucking Chris Evans will be Captain America again. You don't do it to not do it.
Wait, you think Robert Downey Jr. is going to be Iron Man again? Why do you think that?
Because they have
He's being Doctor Doom again.
Yeah, but
or Doctor Doom for the first time. Why? What makes you think that?
Because if I'm going to unload that fucking truck full of money up to his house, I want that fucking Iron Man suit on again. I want somebody to do that again. And the only
I don't think
reason
you get him that way. I don't think he would have done it, right? He was like, no way, man. I ain't touching that. You'd get him play a whole different character, though.
Sure.
What do you know? You know something?
Oh.
That's the thing. It's like anyone else in the real world, like you would just be like, maybe. But like because we work in this business and because you work in a different business than me altogether, I'm like, what do you know?
Who have you been talking to?
Yeah, what the fuck do you know?
Listen, I don't know shit about shit. All I know is the minute you tell me there's a multiverse.
Yeah.
The minute you tell me that there's an infinite number of worlds that each have a Tony Stark in them, the idea that you would pay that man that much money to have him show up and be Doctor Doom 100%, but that Doctor Doom doesn't at some point fight Iron Man, I don't see it.
Are you serious? You think that eventually they let Doctor Doom fight, like Robert Downey Jr. fights himself? I would watch a movie where Robert Downey Jr. played every part. He could be, it could be Doomsday, and he's literally it's like the John Malkovich of fucking Marvel movies, man.
Also, it is literally just CG punching CG in the face while Robert Downey Jr. is in a phone booth somewhere going, take that, Doom. Fuck you, Tony Stark. It's fucking Mando. It's
possible,
I don't have to really be there, and you're still going to pay me this money.
Wow.
And Chris Evans, same thing. Like, that dude's picking up a shield again, and that dude is going to be Captain America again. Before we're done.
How much money do you think?
All of it.
It has to take all of it, right?
All of it.
Because both of those guys were pretty like never. That fucking end game is perfect. We're never going to touch it. We ain't coming back. Those were good times, but those times are behind us. And now both of them are back, which means Scarlett Johansson's probably next. I mean, I ain't fighting it. I know there's some people like, that's unoriginal. I don't give a shit. Oh, my God. Keep giving me the same movie until I die. That's what I want. So, yeah, if they want to bring them all back, remix, I'm all for it, man.
That's my vibe. If I have the unlimited cash of Disney, I'm paying to get them back. For reals.
I hadn't thought of it. It's possible.
Did you guys watch Skeleton Crew? Have you
I
it
watched
yet?
2 episodes of Skeleton Crew. Fucking adorable. Like, just youth, joy, fucking fun. Reminds me of Lost Saucer. Reminds me of fucking...
Lost Saucer.
Yeah, remember that fucking Lost Saucer?
Deep fucking cut.
Lost in Space and Lost Saucer. Lost Saucer was a Sid and Marty Krofft show, which I fucked with far more than Lost in Space. I didn't fuck with Lost in Space a lot because there's a character named fucking Smith.
Too close to home.
Oh dear. Yeah. But yeah, fucking it's and it looks fantastic. And it's Star Wars like I'd rather see something like this if they're going to extend the universe, go beyond the Skywalker saga and shit like that, which if they're to survive, I guess they have to. Like, I thought this was like, I've never seen this before. It's kind of, I mean, I've seen it before when it was the Goonies or whatever the fuck, but like taking Star Wars into Suburbia and, focusing on people in a world that have nothing to do with that world, which has, echoes of Luke Skywalker in Star Wars and stuff.
Suburbia, though, is a weird Star Wars conceit because Star Wars has planets that are just one thing.
Yeah.
We have ice planets, we have swamp planets, we have city planets,
desert
and we have
planets.
desert planets.
And now
and
Suburbia
water planets.
Planet, yeah.
That was just like, there's a part of this town that's not the thing. Like, wait, what?
Yeah.
There's an outside of Coruscant where they just have strip malls and like regular roads and bus routes and shit.
Yeah, strip clubs.
Looks like Suburbia Planet.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Kind
It's
of what
the
it looks
planet
like.
next to the big planet where people commute to the big planet from?
It's
You
the
haven't-
bedroom community
You haven't
planet.
seen it?
No.
It's can I spoil it?
Yeah,
for
do it.
everybody? It's a hidden planet from the Old Republic, so it's never advanced with the rest of the galaxy. Exists in isolation.
So there's no industry, there's no innovation. There's just we've been this for 1,000 years.
Well,
and
similarly to Earth, where we don't go off and fuck with the Vulcans. It's like Earth. But
Yet there's drones in New Jersey, homie, that I'm pretty sure are just aliens trying to make contact.
But yeah, and then the kids escape their boring suburban planet and go and shoot guns and do the things like Luke Skywalker.
Nice.
To go on an adventure. It is sweet, but it's very much, and this is not a diss or a criticism, but it's a kid's show.
It's like, like a 10-year-old show.
Yeah.
I wouldn't show my 4-year-old.
Oh, you think it's too scary for a kid?
Yeah, I don't think she'd.
Too
I
much
don't
nudity?
Think she'd do. I mean, like, people get shot in the eye and stuff. Like, it's violent enough that I don't think the 4-year-old would handle it.
You have to raise a good American, JC. She has to be exposed to the violence in order to become dead to the violence.
But again, like, I don't know. Like, I watched E.T. when it came out, so maybe it's okay.
Nobody got shot in the eye in that.
Yeah.
I watched.
In fact, didn't they take the guns away? Gave them all walkie-talkies at the end of the day?
Yeah,
or
but
something?
then they came back.
I watched a thing last night where somebody got shot in the eye. It was on Pornhub. And let me tell you, he wasn't happy about it either.
You came in that thing? You're braver than I thought.
At that speed, do you think we'll be able to pull out in time?
Curse my metal body, I wasn't fast enough.
It's no move.
Good food, come.
All right, wait. Any other stories we might have missed?
I think I might need...
Creature Commandos. Did you watch that yet?
No! Can I have another blue milk, please?
I have not watched it either. Anybody watch Creature Commandos yet? It's good? Is it all the episodes, or are they doing it? What the fuck? Why? It's what?
James Gunn is the man.
James Gunn's the man.
A man, for sure.
I
Perhaps the man.
I got spoiled with fucking here's every episode. Fuck off. I don't like when they do the Talking Heads release where the band comes out slowly, man. Like, just give me everything at once.
You don't like television the way television used to
No, that was the one improvement, man. I didn't like seeing streaming destroy like fucking cable TV and stuff, but I do like the on-demand nature of like, let me watch it when I want to watch it.
I don't, though.
No?
I prefer the old school way because there's something about having that conversation for an extended period of time with people who are synced with you is so much more enjoyable to me than like I just watch it all in a fucking spurt, and now I'm just talking to myself about it and nobody else. Ooh. Oh, hello. Thank you for the drink.
All right, where are we going?
Interstellar was re-released and sold out everywhere.
what?
Interstellar was? Ooh, wait. Let's talk about the 28 years later trailer. Holy fuck, man. Did you see it?
I did. Shot on an iPhone, maybe?
That's what they said.
That's what they're saying.
And the first one was shot on video, right? If I remember correctly?
Yeah.
Which they just re-released a trailer. I guess they're re-releasing 28 days later. I didn't know that it was not available. It wasn't on digital. It looks good. The trailer looks fucking good.
And that whatever poem is underneath it, I
Creepy.
It's from a Rudyard Kipling
Yeah.
poem, I think. That's just so weirdly atonal and just boots, 21, 34, boots.
Yeah.
It's so fucking disconcerting.
Haunting, very haunting.
Apparently it was some kind of World War I poem or something like maybe a
I
World
think
War
I
II
read
poem.
that as well. The best part of Craven was the trailer for 28 years later.
When I was a younger man, my buddy Adam and I, we used to go when the Phantom Menace trailer dropped in theaters.
Yeah.
It was attached to the Wing Commander
Yeah.
movie. And like we fucking skipped out of work and went to a Times Square movie theater, paid for Wing Commander
Yeah.
to get 2.5 minutes of Star Wars, and then stayed for just enough Wing Commander to be like, fuck Wing Commander.
Yeah.
And then sneak into another showing of Wing Commander and be like, is it time? Is it time? It's time. Because the internet, back in the old days, took forever to fucking download that thing. It's like, I'll pay my $10 in Times Square
Heavens, yes.
and risk venereal disease to go watch this trailer.
Batman, 1989 Batman trailer. I went to see many times in the theater. And then they ran it on Entertainment Tonight, and I recorded it so I could watch it like on a VHS tape. Yeah, there's something to be said for like having to wait and whatnot, but I would prefer the way my schedule works. I prefer to like, hey man, I got to get it all done now. Oh, there it is, Wing Commander. Yeah, FPJ like a motherfucker. All right, man. No more news whatsoever. Superman what? I read a thing today that he was convinced to go with the trunks because of the star. David Cornsweet made an argument for wanting to wear the trunks, and he was like, all right, let's do it. But he hadn't been thinking about it. He was going to go trunkless. I'm not a fan of the collar.
No, you don't like the Mandarin collar?
No, he looks like Father Superman.
Is it he, though?
It's not enough like for me to be like, I hate this movie, but I wouldn't have gone with the collar. But there's so many things I wouldn't have done, so obviously I'm not the guy anyway. But the collar was the thing that I'm like, looks a little too New 52 for me.
A little too close to Jack and the Gun.
Yeah.
He's fighting a giant spider.
That'd be amazing.
Fingers crossed.
We saw that. We got that movie.
I've been trying to forget that movie.
Most people have.
Yes.
All right, so we got all our news covered, man. There's your news. Give it up for Mark and the audience.
And the audience.
We got
Filling
news.
the void.
All right, man. We are fortunate enough to have a guest tonight, ladies and gentlemen, and we only really get to do this for live shows.
I mean, we've had a couple of Zoomies, but
Yeah.
it's not quite the same as welcoming a third member to this particular menage a trois.
And a third who's got deep cuts knowledge, man. He's been around for a while. He's done many jobs in a field that we all love and would probably kill to do some of the jobs that he's done. He's got crazy fucking access, man. He's talented at what he does. We got very lucky because he's doing a signing at Golden Apple. Is that right, Ryan? Kids, Golden Apple. What's tomorrow? Tomorrow's a signing. Golden Apple. What time? 11 to 2. Folks, Golden Apple is celebrating. Golden Apple, for those at home that are unfamiliar, and how could you not know? It's one of the most legendary comic book stores in the world. Celebrating 45 years this year? 45 fucking years. Bill Leibowitz, I met him years ago when I first came out here, and I'd seen him on TV during a piece on Entertainment Tonight, man, where they were talking about Batmania, and they shot in his store. And I remember thinking, like, my God, that looks like a cool comic book store. And so when I finally came out here after Clerks, I got to start fucking with that store way back then. We lost Bill years ago. Ryan's been fucking running it, man, his kid. So your dad did 25 years. You're on year 20 yourself. Brick and mortar. Give it up. That's real comics right there. Golden Apple, if you're here in Los Angeles, worth your fucking time every time, kids. So anyway, they're having a signing tomorrow, and we're lucky enough that we get to hang out tonight with their guest. And so tonight, he's our guest. He ain't going to be signing, but he's going to be dropping knowledge. We're going to try to get all fucking details out of him about spoiler stuff. He's going to try to vault up on us, man. But get ready, kids, to be entertained. Welcome the great Dan Slott.
Am I in the race?
Dan, give for those at home and for those, let's slide you over. Move that little, yeah, there you go. For those at home and for those familiar, give them your bona fides.
I have the longest run on Amazing Spider-Man. Quantity, not quality. Yeah, 10 and a half years. Then I went off and did Iron Man and Fantastic Four for about 4 years. And then I came back to Spider-Man for another 2.
What is the, when you left for a little while?
Yeah.
Were you just like, I just can't fucking Peter Parker at one more moment, man?
No. It's kind of like the opposite. Like, I got a call from Scott Snyder, who is on Batman. He was like my contemporary. I was doing Spidey, he was doing Batman. And he was like, I'm thinking of leaving Batman. What do I do? And then he left for a little bit and immediately ran back to do All-Star Batman.
Right.
And it's kind of like you're Wile E. Coyote and you run off the cliff and you're like, oh my God! And you try to run back really fast. No, it's kind of like you're walking down the street and everything you see in New York City, you put it through the Spider-Man filter. So when you've been doing it for that long, and when I did it, Jerry Conway called me up one day and he was like, you're running a marathon. You've been doing this for so long. And I'm like, Jerry, I'm doing this 2 or 3 times a month. I'm running a marathon of sprints. It was like Lucy in the Chocolate Factory. It was like constantly putting out Spider-Man every week. And after a while, that becomes like this filter over your face, and you just see everything through Spider-Man terms. And when I stopped doing that, I kept coming up with Spider-Man stories.
As you walk away.
The machine won't stop.
Right.
So, yeah.
I can't imagine how many fucking words you've written over those 10 years. Because I write comic books, but I do not do that version of comic books. I don't know if I have that engine. But I work on TV, and if I'm working on a season of TV for 20 weeks, I write 1 episode. You write... I can't imagine how much fucking words you have to lift.
It's different for everybody. Like, when I started off, my first book in the industry, my first monthly book was Ren and Stimpy.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So I did, that was my entry. I did Ren and Stimpy, and we did a simultaneous launch with the show, and we were doing the comic. And we had animators working with us on the comic. And comic book, illustrators, our pencilers and inkers will be like, oh, it takes so hard to write a book every month. And you give that to an animator, there you go, there's your book. What the hell's your problem, Jesus?
Right.
So it's all different, So I probably can do what you do. I have never written live action before. That scares the shit out of me.
It's so fucking easy, though.
Done.
Great, yeah. I know a guy who knows a guy.
Dan, so when you're working 10 years on Spider-Man, Spider-Man, like Batman, has an incredible rogues gallery. Do you schedule for yourself, okay, every 4 months Mysterio, every 4 months Kingpin?
It was so hard.
Yeah, how do you balance them all out?
Oh no, it was really hard because every now and when I took over the book monthly, Marvel's doing all these digital sales, and without doing any specials or 30% off or this or that, they made Venom available, and suddenly everybody's buying the fuck out of Venom for no reason. Our marketing department couldn't figure it out. And they came to the Spider-Man office and they went, what are your plans for Venom? I'm like, oh, it's going to be great. You know, we take up the suit off of Matt Gargan, and now the U.S. government owns it because, you know, when he went to jail, they took it off. The government owns it. So they're going to put it on a soldier, and he's going to become Agent Venom, and he's going to look like Spider-Man, like a Spider-Man guy, and every now and then he'll get hurt, and he'll totally Venom out. So you get both visuals. And the big secret, you won't realize it is, it's Flash Thompson. Because he always worshipped Spider-Man, and it's his chance. But Mark Guggenheim did a story where his legs got blown off in the war. But the Venom suit will grow him back. So it was going to be, and I'm walking him through like the whole Venom storyline. And I'm like, it's going to be this long, slow burn. You're not going to know who he is. When we get up to this big storyline, he's working together with Spider-Man. He Venoms out. And Peter goes home, goes, oh my God, I got to find out who the new Venom is. And when he opens the door, Venom's going to be in his apartment. He's going to be like, what the fuck? And he turns to him and he was going to go, Puny Parker. And you're going to go, holy shit, it's Flash. And I'm like, when's that? That's like year 3. And they're like, yeah, you're doing a Venom book now. And you're not going to get to write it because you're writing Spider-Man, but you can do the first adventure and get it the fuck out now. Do it now. So I was the guy writing Spider-Man where I couldn't use Venom. And Carnage got taken up and put on these miniseries constantly. I couldn't use Carnage. And Bendis and Warren Ellis and people were using Norman Osborn in Thunderbolts and Dark Avengers. I was the guy writing Spider-Man for 10.5 years, and I couldn't use Venom, Carnage, or Norman Osborn.
The whole time you didn't get to
Almost
fuck with
the
Green
entire
Goblin?
time.
Wow.
And you're like, well, we're coming up with new villains, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that. And did you play Spider-Man on PS4?
I did.
Did you like Mr. Negative? Yeah. He's one of my guys. I got to co-create him with Phil Jimenez. So it's like, it's fun. I get to see, but you know Screwball, and you hate her because of those missions, right? She's the most annoying character, and you hate those missions. She's one of mine too, so it balances out.
But you got a taste of that stuff, right? There's a little bit of lucre coming your way.
I just,
So that's a no.
I'm going to say yes. I believe there's this weird clause in the contracts of what constitutes an action figure. It has to be X amount of size or it doesn't count. And magically, HeroClix and Mini-Mates fall in that zone.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Wait, 10 years of writing Spider-Man.
Uh-huh.
Give me the best reaction to anything you wrote and the absolute worst reaction.
Superior Spider-Man arc.
And that was
from Amazing Spider-Man 700 at
was
the end
that
of
the
700.
Doc Ock one?
Yeah, we killed Peter Parker, and then we started a new book. That was the best and worst reaction because it was actual death threats. Serious. Like, I had this
because
neighbor
you killed Peter?
Yeah. I had a neighbor who called me. She was vacationing in Italy. And she was like, are you all right? And I'm like, why? And she's like, you're on CNN. And I turn on CNN, and on the bottom crawl, it said, Brad Pitt's new humanitarian project, size, Gangnam Style breaks YouTube record. There are, death threats against Marvel Spider-Man writer Dan Slott. I was the third thing on the crawl.
Oh, shit.
It was the holidays, and I had to call my dad. My parents were in town, and I was like, don't let Mom watch CNN. and he was taking her all over town and having fun, and if there was a bar with a TV, they were avoiding it. And then I do a lunch at Marvel where I was meeting with their security, the NYPD Cybercrimes Division, and the DA's office with all the death threats. And I had bodyguards for one signing that was provided by Marvel, and when it didn't stop, another signing where I had bodyguards incognito that were NYPD. But I get this call after that. I have that lunch, and it's from my dad, and he's like, your aunt called your mom. She wants to talk to you.
Oh my God.
Why are they trying to kill you? What did you do? So yeah, when I went for one of the signings, it was Christmas time. It was winter. There was a snowstorm in New York, and the guy who's in charge of security that Marvel paid for kept everyone outside and was only allowing people up 4 at a time, and did not telling them why. And it was a snowstorm, so like that whole day for like 4 hours, I'm shaking these ice cold hands, and these people with these cheeks going, "You look like a SpiderMan." It was horrible. When I had pulled up in a cab, and they said, "Wait in the cab, and we're going to send our guy." And if you've ever been to Midtown Comics in Manhattan, there's this, you could see through the window the stairway, and this guy who looks like the brother from Everybody Loves Raymond in a tracksuit comes like running down the stairs. And he comes up to the cab, and he's like, "You Dan Slott?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "I'm from Midtown Comics." And he moves aside, and behind him is like Sipowitz's dad. It's like, "Yeah, I'm so-and-so from the NYPD Blue. I'm going to look after you." And I'm like, "I want the other guy."
How far back does your history go at Marvel Comics? Like, what was your first entree?
I was Fabian Nicias's college intern.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, right when he was starting New Warriors and doing X-Force and Cable and all that shit. I was his college intern. I was not in college at the time. I had lied. I had just finished college, and I went up for an interview, and they said, "We can't use you because we pay you by your college credit." I left. I came back 6 months later for my other sister's wedding, and I pretended I hadn't been there before. And I got a college professor to write me a post-college graduate thing, and they didn't look at it. And then I became the intern who, for some reason, never went back to college. And eventually they went like, "We want to hire you."
What year? So what year is that?
Like 1990.
So you were there like when Joe and Jimmy did Marvel Nights and all that shit as well?
I was there for like Marvel Night stuff.
Who was the guy? Oh, Bill Jemish. You were there for the Joe and Bill show.
Yes. And I went away. I was there for like 5 years. I went away. I went to DC, to other places. And then I came back in 2004 because of the Batman Arkham Asylum Living Hell book I did for DC. People were like, "Oh, we'll look at your superhero stuff now." And I pitched them a new take on She-Hulk, where she would be in a law office. And that became that She-Hulk run in 2004, which they heavily adapted that and the Byrne stuff and some Charles Soule into the show. But I got to watch that and go like, "Holy shit, it's set in GLK and H, and there's Holden Holloway, and there's Pug, and there's Mallory." And I'm like, it was really, and they invited me to the premiere. It's really cool.
What else have you seen on the movie side, TV show side?
Oh man, I see a whole bunch of stuff like there's stuff I did that like shows up in Far From Home and in No Way Home, and Lord Miller brought me in. I got to help out on the second Spider-Verse movie because I did the first Spider-Verse comics, so that was kind of cool.
What's the last set you visited? You allowed to say?
I got to go on to the FF First Step set with yeah. And
Where was that? Where were they?
They were in Pinewood over in London, and I got to do that with like Mark Bagley and Alan Davis and Tom DeFalco and a whole bunch of. One of the only people who didn't go was Jonathan Hickman because he hadn't updated his passport. Yeah. Everyone's like, "Why isn't Hickman in the picture? Where's Hickman?" Yeah, there's Jonathan Hickman.
Were you ever part of the Marvel committee or whatever back in the day?
No. And
explain that. What is that for those that don't?
That was like Bendis and a whole bunch of guys, and they would go down there and they would give notes
in the beginning of the movies.
In the very beginning. So, for example, one of the greatest benefits to the whole Marvel superhero universe is a gift Brian Michael Bendis gave them, which is this post-credit scene where Nick Fury shows up. That's ghost written. That's a Brian Michael Bendis scene.
He came up with that. He was like, "You should do a scene at the end."
And that was everything. That connected everything, and something that the world we live in today is because of that. And that was a committee thing.
And then the committee, what happened?
Kevin Feige became lord over all of it. You know, so he gets to, you know, Dan Buckley and the guys at Marvel still run Marvel Publishing.
Right.
But they talk to Kevin. I so wanted to go to the Far From Home premiere, and at one point I was doing all these meetings for Across the Spider-Verse, and I was talking to like Lord Miller, and they were like, "Yeah, Dan, we need you to come back to LA. We gotta, you know, we want to do another round talking about stuff." And they're like, "When can you come?" And I'm like, "What about this date?" I'm like, "That date not so good for me. What about that date? Oh, I'm really busy." I'm like, "When can you come?" And I'm like, "Well, Phil, I really wouldn't want to be so far from home." He's like, "You want to come to the premiere?" "Oh, can I?" I'm like, "Yeah." So I go, and when I'm there, I see Kevin Feige, and he's like, "This is my shot." I get in line with all these people who are there to kiss the ring and meet Kevin Feige. And I'm getting nervous because it kind of feels like one of these things where you go to a con and they march everyone by and take the picture really quick and march everyone back. That all these bigwigs, everyone's just getting their 10 seconds with Kevin Feige. And I go, "Hi, Mr. Feige." And I'm going to get it out really fast. I'm like, "My name's Dan Slott, and I'm the writer of Fantastic Four." And he looks at me and goes, "No, you're not." And I'm like, "What's going on?" And he's like, "You're a writer on SpiderMan." And I'm like, "Well, yeah." And he takes me aside, and I'm like, "Where am I going?"
Is there plastic on the ground?
Yeah. And then he's like, "We need to talk about She-Hulk." Then I'm like, holy shit. And I always ask the worst questions. Like you can ask me anything. I'm like, "Is Awesome Andy gonna be in it?" Which is like, no one at Marvel cares about that kind of stuff. And I'm like, but we were talking, and then I'm leaving, and I'm thinking, I can't tell anyone what I just heard, because the Hulk rights are with, you know, I'm like working it through my head. If I mention anyone She-Hulk, they'll be able to reverse engineer so much shit. So I'm just constantly like walking around like, I can't tell anyone anything.
Yeah.
What did you talk to Feige about? So yeah, so we were on the set of FF, and like, I will be killed if I mention half of what I saw. But you guys have seen in some of the art that they've done that Herbie the Robot's in it. I was so I got to hang out with Herbie the Robot. I was like, I'm like, he's going around, he's beeping and booping, I'm talking to him, his hands are moving. I'm just like, there's 8 guys manipulating him. I'm like, I'm ignoring all these fuckers. You're Herbie and you're alive, and I'm talking to you. This is awesome.
That's what I always hear about people who visit like the Sesame Street set or work with the Muppets. Like for the first 5 minutes, they're like, "Oh, there's a guy with his hands up a puppet's ass," and then it vanishes.
Dude, okay, I'm at this one con, and I'm sitting in the green room with 2 Marvel guys. Alice Cooper comes walking by with a tray of food like it's high school. And he's like looking around and goes, "Can I sit with you guys?" And we're like, "Yes, Alice Cooper." And he sits down. I'm not a big Alice Cooper fan, but the 2 guys I'm with, they are huge. They're huge, yeah. It was just like Wayne. They're like huge in Alice Cooper. And they're asking him a million questions. And he finished, and he's being really sweet, and he's answering everything. And he's finishing up his food, and he turns to me and goes, "Do you have any questions?" And my brain does that Terminator thing, like, I'm like searching for anything to ask Alice Cooper. And I go, "You were on the original Muppet Show." And he's like, "I was." And he starts talking about that shit, about how you don't realize they're puppets. You're just hanging with them. He's just talking. And he turns to me and goes, "No one ever asks me about that." It's really cool.
What is your favorite thing about writing Peter Parker? And here, let's do this. Do you like writing Peter Parker or Spider-Man more?
I think the greatest Spider-Man moment, Peter Parker moment, ever put on film is Tom Holland going to pick up Liz, and he opens the door, and it's Adrian Toomes.
That was awesome.
I think that's better than, it's the best.
It's a fantastic scene.
It's the best moment, and it's not in any comic, but it feels like it should have been. It feels like the most Peter Parker thing in the world, that his life and the villain clash. Like when Aunt May is Doc Ock's maid for a while. You're just like, So, my favorite Peter Parker thing I've ever written is the end of issue 800, when he finally has a moment where he and Jonah are together at this funeral, and he forgives Jonah for all the shit that Jonah's ever done to him. And Jonah has a moment where he's gonna say that back to Peter, and at this point, he knows Peter's secret identity. And the alarm is going off, and he's like, "What are you waiting around for? Go!" And he's like, "Okay, Jonah." He's like changing. Right. And he's leaving all his clothes, and Jonah's picking them all up and folding them. What would he do without me? You know. And it's Peter. When I was a kid, I used to hate it whenever he had his arm in a cast or he had a cold, because he'd be out of, canon. He wouldn't be in costume, sort of. And you'd be drawing Spider-Man, and he'd have that cast. But when you grow up, you realize, no, that's the whole fun of it. It's how are you handicapping Spider-Man for this story? How are you messing him up? This story, so he has.
Your JC's got you.
It was such a great story.
This feels weird. I should not be taking Kevin Smith's mic.
It's all right. He'll take mine. It's a daisy chain of mics. Oh, you're back.
My arms are too short to box.
The pit crew is awesome in here, though. That was amazing.
Yeah, well done.
But that's when Spider-Man and Peter shine. People used to say, "What's your job?" And my job, I would say, is torturing Peter Parker. I miss it.
Favorite villain?
Oh, man. Everyone's going to say it's Doc Ock, because I've done so much with Doc Ock. But that was because those 4 big guys were taken away from me. And he was the biggest gun I could play in anniversary issues. I love Mysterio.
Yes.
And I don't know if I was the first guy to do it, but I know I did it, and then it shows up in the movie. I loved him using his Batman thugs like they're on a movie set, and they're prepping for their next gag, and they're doing their next thing. And he almost doesn't care if he gets the money. He wants to pull off the coolest shit and F with you. And there's something fun about that. Him and the Lizard are my favorites.
Do you get, edited? Do you ever get notes?
Oh, all the time.
Who? Who would be the person that yanks your chain creatively?
Oh, no, my editor, and sometimes the editor above that, and sometimes the president or the EIC will just say...
Joe Biden is like... You cannot, Parker, do this issue.
You say that, but we had Obama in an issue.
True.
It's... He's on lunchboxes and on pajamas, and there are people who are going to say, you cannot do this with Spider-Man. So a lot of times or marketing says, you need to do that. Did you guys read Spider Island? Anyone? Yeah. That was not planned. Marketing said, we need a Spider-Man tentpole this month, come up with something fast. So it's not your character, but it's a character you grew up loving. So that's part of the fun of it. You get to play with stuff. Like when you were writing Green Arrow, you wanted to write Green Arrow.
Totally.
Yeah.
But at a certain point, I was like, that's all I got. I didn't last 10 fucking years, man. That's huge. What when you're playing with all the toys, is there any sort of here, rather than go there, what was something that somebody said you can't do with Spider-Man?
Do you remember Swarm? He was this Nazi made out of bees, and he would...
Sure.
He started in a children's cartoon. He started in Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. But Von Meyer, this evil Nazi, made these killer bees, and they swarmed over him and killed him. So if you ever took the bees away, there was a skeleton in the middle. But it's his consciousness controlling all these killer bees.
The Swamp Thing of bees.
He's the Swamp Thing of bees.
Who's also a Nazi.
Who's also a Nazi.
Marvel went Swamp Thing to hold my beer.
Nothing but a bee thing, baby.
But every Swarm story is the same story. He fires bees at you. That's it. That's the story. Sometimes they're tiny bees, sometimes they're giant bees, but that's every swarm story. And so people stopped using them, and I went into my editor and I went, I've got a swarm story. I know how to do a swarm story no one's ever done before. And he's like, okay, what is it? And I go, we've never seen what happens to the honey.
What a writer, man. That's such a writer thing.
I'm like,
remember them killer bees? What's happening to the honey?
The honey.
That's
like
so
a
awesome.
Nazi farmer's market somewhere?
Yes. That swarm wearing a beekeeper suit, but it's all bees inside, no one knows, is at farmer's market selling the honey.
Artisanal Nazi honey?
Yes. And everyone eating the honey is turning into Nazis.
They kicked that story back?
Yeah. Yeah. And I went, and you know what we call it, Steve? And he's like, what? And I'm like, Nazi gold. Like, you will never tell that story at Marvel Comics. But then there was another one that's more obvious why we... The Marvel Universe and a lot of Spider-Man villains are guys in animal suits. So I pitched this story. What if there's a guy and he's going to his first furry convention?
You have my attention, sir. And my $10.
And it's the same hotel where, like, Hydra is doing, like, a secret deal.
Oh, that's good.
With a MacGuffin briefcase, and Spider-Man goes to stop them, and this guy, the police come, and they're swarming, and all the furry guys are running away, and one goes through the door, and the Hydra guys look at him and go, are you the supervillain we hired? And he goes, yes, I am the Weasel. And the whole story is this guy would rather people think he's a supervillain than a furry. So he's just going along with it, and he's unintentionally becoming Spider-Man's greatest enemy. So you have this scene where, like, it's frickin' Goldfinger, and Spider-Man's, like, trapped in the laser, and the Weasel's like, you'll talk. And he's like, I'll never talk, Weasel. And he's like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. And at the end, he's captured, and they're putting him away in cuffs and throwing him in the back of the car, and the guy's family is there. And they're like, you're a supervillain? Yes, dear, I am. I'm the Weasel, and I'll get you, Spider-Man. And they would not let me write the story Where Pops the Weasel. They would never let me write that.
Come on,
No
man.
fucking notes. That's perfect.
No.
Holy shit.
I wrote, I did a story ages ago for a interactive Superman cartoon for DC. And I got the best notes ever. Where... you know how the dark side's always looking for the anti-life equation?
Yeah.
Okay. Where Kirby set it up, where the anti-life equation is in the mind of one person on Earth, which is why everyone from Darkseid and the Apocalypse guys keep attacking Earth. And we've even seen stories where they found that guy, and by the end of that story, that person dies, and the anti-life equation goes to someone else on Earth. So I did a story where, hey, if I'm Darkseid, just take one human, take him off Earth, blow up Earth, this guy has the anti-life equation.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, and Mike Carlin heard that and he went, that's too good. Darkseid should do that every time now. That's too good of a plan. But that was the story. He gets this giant device that sucks the life force of everyone on Earth and is on this giant globe. And at one point, Superman, and so for one chapter, Superman's got to land every plane, save everybody, because all their life force has been sucked out. And Jimmy Olsen is on the run on Apocalypse, trying to avoid all the parademons and everybody. And when Superman catches up to him in the next chapter, Superman has Jimmy. He's taken a mother box. He's gone to Apocalypse. He's got Jimmy. And Darkseid has the Omechahedron. And he's like, Superman, give me the boy, or I crush this, and everyone on your adopted world will die. All their life will be gone. And Superman goes, if I give you Jimmy, you'll have the anti-life equation. You'll control the universe. Though it's my adopted home, I can't do that to the rest of the galaxies. Jimmy, I'm sorry. And the end of that chapter is Superman hurls Jimmy Olsen into a fire pit of apocalypse. That's the end of the chapter. The notes from Mike Carlin, mwah, they were my favorite notes. It was like The Shining with all the shit Jack Nicholson wrote on the wall with just the word no in red ink. Best notes I will ever get on a story in my entire life. I had to write the opening of the next chapter where it's, you see the exact same scene but from a different angle, and Superman tucks the mother box behind Jimmy's pants.
Right.
And that you see a boom tube open on Earth and Jimmy comes out and he's patting his pants on fire.
Right.
And now Jimmy has a mother box and all the resources of Earth to mount a defense and come back. And Carlin saw it and he was like, okay, you can do it.
Nice.
I just love the vision now of Jimmy Olsen bending over and shit just coming out of his pants because the mother box is in his rectum. That's just where I go. Is there you've been at Marvel for what, 20, 25 years, give or take?
20 years under contract, exclusive. Yeah.
Is there a character you've wanted to write that you haven't been able to?
Moon Knight.
Really?
Yeah. When I was a teenager, the Doug Mensch, Bill Sinclair era was the shit.
But why haven't, in all this time there, they wouldn't let you, or you just never found an opportunity?
I remember like when Straczynski left Spider-Man, and he did this going out interview, and someone asked him, do you have any regrets? And he goes, I never wrote an Electro story. And you could hear it in his voice, like, no. And you know, the stars have never aligned.
Wow.
So yeah, I never did Moon Knight.
Who was your first comic book ever when you were a kid?
Marvel Team Up 38, and a Marvel Tales that reprinted the story where Electro just kicks Spider-Man's ass on a late night talk show and leaves. He never comes back. Peter's life is for shit. He went on the show to get money and they won't pay him, and now his costume's burnt and he's worse off than before. The end. And the other story I read was he had to team up with the Beast to stop the Griffin. So in my head, Spider-Man was probably going to lose. And Spider-Man couldn't beat anybody without help. So every time I picked up an issue of Spider-Man, I was rooting for him. Right. Like Superman, he'll
be fine.
Batman, yeah. But Spider-Man, he's awful. He's not good at this. And I relate to that. And I'm like, oh my God, Spider-Man. But the reason I got those two comics was I knew who Spider-Man was from the cartoons. And I loved the Spider-Man 67 cartoon. It was after school every day. And one day I'm biking past 7-Eleven in my Spielbergian suburb, not on AT-AT. And I passed the 7-Eleven and there's a giant John Romita Sr. poster of Spider-Man in the window saying that Spider-Man's coming to my town to sign comic books. And I'd never thought of buying a comic book in my life. And I walk in there, I'm like, where are the comic books? I have to meet Spider-Man. I was a little Jewish boy who never had Santa Claus or the Easter Bunny, and I was the right age for this. I was all in to meet Spider-Man.
Red outfit, what's the difference?
Yeah. Now I want to see J. Jonah Jameson articles about Santa. How dare he? Union breaking, you know.
And then after decades, he's folding his clothes.
He's folding his clothes. But like, yeah, I had to meet Spidey, and I bugged my dad when he came home, like, I need quarters. I need to buy comics. I need money. So he set me up on Shores, and he gave me 2 quarters. And I went that weekend. I biked out. I wanted to get there ahead of anybody. It was just me alone at 7-Eleven looking to the sky because I wanted to see Spider-Man swing in.
Oh, that's adorable.
This is the moment that fucked me up for life and made me the man I am today. It was the 70s at Suburban California. There's no buildings. I was getting worried, like, how's he gonna get here? And it was like Carter-era gas shortage. There are all these cars all over the freeway leading up to the 7-Eleven. And they all start parting like the Red freaking Sea. Because there's this one red pickup truck with 2 guys in the 70s that had access to a Spider-Man costume. So one guy's in the back truck kind of being like, look at me, I'm Spider-Man. And everyone's like letting him out and cheering. And I see him come off the freeway, come up to the 7-Eleven. I'm the only one there. And this was it. This was the golden moment. It was, he saw this kid's like shocked. And just to fuck with me, he jumps out of the pickup truck and lands in the Spider-Man pose. And then he gets up and just walks in. And I was like, I was convinced that was Spider-Man. And I couldn't talk. If you guys have followed my social media, you've probably seen like, because I'm such a nerd for all the Doctor Who guys, you've probably seen the picture of me and Matt Smith, where I'm like smiling too fucking much. We had to take the picture 5 times. And they're like, your eyes are closed, your eyes are closed. I'm like, no, I'm smiling so hard, my cheeks are shoving my eyes closed. And I was like that, I could not talk. Then he signed my books and I took them home. And I don't have those signatures because those covers were broken to shit. I read those 2 comics so many times, it looked like they went through a washing machine in just like a weekend.
I mean, that is the best version of that story, because the other version is Spider-Man pulled up in a fucking 1978 VW Bug, like cigarette out of his mouth, like costume
mask up
off,
here over
like,
his nose.
All right, fucking, hey, web slingers, let's sign some fucking books.
That would never happen, Mark. And I can tell you why, because when I worked at Marvel Comics on editorial, it was my job to give the tours for a year to the kids, and at the end of the tour, you'd introduce them to Spider-Man. Because they walk in and they're expecting Oompa Loompas, and instead it's just guys in an office.
All right.
And then at the end they meet Spider-Man and they're all freaked out and they've got free comics and it was the best day ever. And Marvel had a deal where we had professional superheroes and we send the hero with the suit. So like, for example, Jonathan Frakes was a professional Marvel Captain America.
Oh, shit.
Really?
Yeah, in his early career. You can find pictures online, and that's young Frakes. And I knew who our Spider-Man were, and we broke the rules. We grabbed someone on staff who had a good build, and we put them in the suit, because we couldn't bring our professional guy every weekend. And we had a problem with the guy we usually used.
Jim Lee.
What?
It was Jim Lee, right?
No, it wasn't really. But he knew all the Spider-Man lore, and he could answer all the kids' questions. He was a guy from Paste Up.
Right.
But he could have been a porn star. He's walking around in this Spider-Man suit.
He had a giant dick.
Huge. And we'd be there with, hey, Jonathan Frakes. We'd be there with parents, like the chaperones. And all the kids didn't notice or care. They'd all be like, hey, Spider-Man, hey, Spider-Man. And all the adults would be like, what the?
Look at this fucking web slinger.
Mole Man is in his pants.
We had one time where, because kids would always ask, like, pull Santa beard questions, like, why don't you shoot a web? Why don't you walk up the wall? Why don't you do this? And he'd always distract them going, oh, well, those tiles don't look like they could support my weight, but did you hear about my fight with Electro?
Nice.
Nah. And he was very good at that. But at one question, this one kid went, Spider-Man, Spider-Man, Spider-Man. He went, yeah. What's that?
Oh, shit.
Without missing a beat, he went, that's where I keep my spare web shooter.
Ah, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Only other line we would have accepted is kid with great power. Comes a giant dick.
By the time I was doing Ren and Stimpy, I was so used to that being the protocol that you had professional guys that I did this tour of St. Louis of all these different comic shops promoting the Ren and Stimpy book. And Nickelodeon had sent over Ren and Stimpy suits so Ren and Stimpy could be at every store. And when I was at the first store, I'm hanging out in the green room and I'm having this long talk with the girl who's in the Ren suit. And we're talking, we're laughing, and at one point she puts her hand on my lap and I'm thinking, I like her. So I start like schmoozing with Ren. And then we go to all these different shops in St. Louis, and each time I'm feeling a little more forward and I'm hitting on Ren a little more, and we get to the last store and Ren goes, "Can you stop that? It's really freaking me out." It was a different person in the suit at every store. They just sent the suits, and I had no idea.
Good seeing you again.
It's like the end of Trading Places where you're in like, who's in the mask? Are we in a jail cell on the way to the Serengeti?
What are you doing now?
Right now I'm doing Spider Boy, which came out of nowhere. I was working on the Spider-Man book, and we were doing like my final Spider-Verse story, which was like my second one, but you don't want to keep going back to the well. And we did a scene where halfway into the story, Peter Parker, through magical means, gets erased from history, like he never existed. And you're like, well, how are you going to keep doing a Spider-Man book? By the end, you got to bring him back. So all the other characters who got brought back, we were bringing back this character and this character and this character. And there was a Spider-Man character, Kane, who we hadn't used. And we were getting all these letters going, why isn't Kane in this storyline? And suddenly the magical person who's bringing people back brings back Kane. And they're like, we don't remember you being in this story. And Kane was like, I was in issue 1. I was helping you out. And, oh my God, we did the magic spell too late. We almost forgot you completely. And then they go, wait a minute. And I said to my editor, wouldn't it be cool if we then bring back one more person after that and no one remembers them, like they did the spell wrong? And like, who would that be? And I pitched Spider-Boy, like a sidekick to Spider-Man, like a Robin to his Batman. And the kid just shows up and no one knows who he is. So he's running around kind of like Spider-Man in No Way Home. No one knows this kid, and he's having these adventures. That was the idea. It was just not a one-off, but we were going to do some stories with him down the road. But the issue became Marvel's best-selling single issue of that year.
Holy shit.
Was Spider-Man 7.
Congrats.
Yeah, and every issue that came after it where he appeared immediately sold out. And just like with Venom, marketing walked in the office and went, are you doing a Spider-Boy book? And we're like, no, like, you're doing one now. And that's what I've been doing. So we've just passed the year mark where issue 13 just came out. And I'm going to be at, if you're watching and you're in LA, Golden Apple Comics tomorrow from 11 to 2. Yay! On Melrose, and then from 4 to 6 at the Comic Bug on Manhattan Beach. So please come by.
Nice.
Everything else I'm working on is top secret NDA, annoying stuff I can't talk about.
You live here, do you live on the East Coast?
Live on the East Coast.
I know a comic book store in Red Bank, New Jersey that would love to love to have you. Absolutely. What else you got for Dan? Because I could go for fucking, this is my favorite kind of thing. That fucking story about meeting Spider-Man is everything. Like I'm going to go home and tell my wife that story.
Aww.
It's just so fucking charming.
I can't top it. I can't top it.
Oh my! You found the Matt Smith picture. That's really embarrassing.
That's gorgeous.
You would have a deal with comic conventions because when I grew up in England and I just lived and died with Tom Baker and Peter Davison's Doctor Who.
Wait, don't roll past that. Why did you grow up in England?
Dad's job.
Seriously?
Yeah, so I was, all my teen years were in England, which was great because I was exposed to Judge Dredd and Slain the Barbarian and all the great stuff coming out of like British and French and Italian, all the European comics.
And before those cats like came over to the States and started writing for like DC and stuff.
I was reading like Alan Moore stuff before you guys knew who Alan Moore was, and I was like, oh, this is cool.
What was it like growing up in the UK? As an American kid growing up in the UK?
Well, I went to an American school, so all my friends were American. The weirdest thing is, because they're all so freaking polite, it's like from birth they're polite, where if you're not polite, it's rude. And this thing will happen to you when you're an American, you're in England, and you step on someone's toe, and they beat you to the I'm sorry. And it's like finding that extra stare at night where you're like, what's going on? And I was with a friend of mine, Harry Teasley, in high school, and I was with him when it happened to him the first time, and he was a Texan with a big belt buckle, and he just went, well, don't ever let that happen again. And I immediately knew we were going to be friends, and I was like, I love this guy. But in American school. But for me, the greatest thing about it was the freedom. Then I grew up in suburban California as a little kid. And when I moved in England, the subway pass I needed, the tube pass, to get me from my home to my school went through all 3 zones. So I had this magic card. And with this card, whenever I wanted, I could get on any bus or any subway and go anywhere. It was better than having a car. And that's what I remember most, was like hanging out with all my friends, and I could go to any friend's house, I could go to any movie theater, I could go to any pub, I could go to anywhere I wanted with this card.
Did you feel safe? It's like a major city.
Yeah, but it was London. It was fine.
No guns.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point. Holy shit. Hey, let's talk about, before we dive into anything else, the business of being a comic book writer. How many can you live writing 1 book a month?
It depends.
If you're Dan Slott, you might be able to.
Who you are and how long you've been doing it and how much they bumped up your page rate.
So when your page, give them what's the starting page rate for a writer?
No, I've gotten into trouble doing this. I'm not going to do that. I was actually on a panel once where someone asked that question, and I was saying, well, there's a Chinese wall. It's in my contract. I can't talk about this. And higher up at Marvel was on the panel and went, oh, we can answer this. If we started you tomorrow, we'd start you at our bottom rate, which is blah, blah, blah. And I was on the panel, and I freaked out. And I went, I'm writing Amazing Spider-Man, and I'm only making this much more than the bare minimum. And they all looked at me like, and they thought we were doing a bit. We were not doing a bit. And that's when I got an agent.
So in comics, your page rate goes up and stays up. It don't matter if you go to another book, it don't drop down. It can stay right there.
I know people who won't work for certain companies because they drop their page rates.
Really?
Whether you're an artist or a writer or whoever. Like there's someone I dearly love to work with on certain projects, and their page rate went down. When I'll just go over here across town and work for the better rate.
Right.
And also, when you're exclusive, they bump up your rate more for the privilege of you not going to the other guys.
What's the most amount of books you've ever written in a month? Ongoing titles.
For ongoing, I'm slow. There are guys like Bendis and Jeff Johns, and they can write like 7, 8, and they can. Fabian Nicias at his prime was writing like almost all the X books and the New Warrior books and the spin-offs. And there was a time, because I comfortably can do 2 books a month. And sometimes change. Or if we're doing extra specials and one-shots, I can have a month where I put out like 6 books. But you're not getting anything out of me the next month. You burnt me out. So there was a point where I was running around and I was having dinners with guys and tapping them going, okay, tell me about your work routine. Tell me about how you do this. And I want to model. I was talking to all the guys who I knew who were prolific. And there's one time, I think it was like in Baltimore, I'm having a dinner with Kirkman. And I'm saying, like, Robert, like, how do you do this and how do you do that? One of the things I found out in the Venn diagram, almost everybody I talked to had bought the most expensive version of noise-canceling headphones they could possibly buy, like almost to a man. And I'm like, I'm putting that on the shopping list. I will now wear noise-canceling headphones when I do my work. But I was saying to Robert, it's like my favorite bit. I was like, okay, this, and I go, okay, so Robert, when you're working on your second draft, and he went, second draft? And he just laughed his ass off and wouldn't stop. I was like, okay, we're different people. You're a genius and I'm an idiot. The important thing is not to be Salieri. It's to go, run your own race, enjoy what's on your plate. Because if you look at the other guy's plate, you will go crazy. Because someone's looking at your plate and they're going crazy for different reasons. Yeah. So just enjoy what you got and have fun.
It's not somebody said it's not, yes, beautiful advice. It's not people think of it as a climb. It's a ladder. Where am I on the ladder? And it's not a ladder. It's just a journey. And some people are ahead of you, but not because they're better. They just started earlier. You all start at different times. What were you going to say?
I was just going to ask how much ambition do you have to do your own thing?
I've had like Image came to me and I have the thing and I have my poor artist lined up, ready to go whenever. But I've got to do the work I owe. So like there's a zillion things I want to do that are creator owned. And they're like when I come to LA and I get to do a pitch session with somebody, there's this one golden pitch I have, and they hear it and they go, "That's really good." And I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Can we see the comic?" I'm like, "There's no comic." And they go, "Come back when there's a comic." So that's always going to be like my second creator-owned book. It's not my favorite of everything I've got, but it's the one that everyone goes, "Ooh, that one," because it's really cheap and easy to do, and high concept. So it's like.
So the magic ticket, basically. You wrote yourself a magic ticket. Now you just got to make it first.
Pretty much, yeah.
Oh.
Before we let Dan go, anybody got any questions? Go.
Bueller?
Okay, thank you for being here.
Oh, thank
Question. All the stories you mentioned that Marvel didn't let you write. Thank you very much. All the stories you mentioned that Marvel didn't let you write, do they let you at least hang on to that?
For something else?
Yes.
I mean, yeah, but I think if you're doing the job right for a licensed character, if you do it right, you shouldn't be able to snap another character into it, or it'll feel wrong. That said, like I'm such a Doctor Who freak, and I've done everything I can to like network. And at one point, like I asked Stephen Moffat, like, "Can I pitch you stuff?" And he was like, "Okay, Dan, you can pitch me stuff. We're worked with friends, buddies." He went onto my Facebook page at one point in like some completely random Facebook thing that just went, "Stop bloody winning at bloody online bloody Scrabble." I'm like, that was Stephen Moffat. But I pitched him a whole bunch, like my best shot at doing Doctor Who stuff. And if you've read my Silver Surfer run, yay! The story where they go to the hologram planet, that's repurposed from those five pitches. That was a Doctor Who idea. So, but normally it doesn't fit if you're doing it right.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
What's the coolest piece of his collection? Yeah.
You mean like memorabilia? When you know how like Star Wars is Blue Harvest, and if you were walking on the set, you would get a Blue Harvest pass. Okay, my favorite things in my collection. I have 2 of those from SpiderMan movies, where one Andrew Garfield signed it and one Tom Holland signed it, and it doesn't say SpiderMan on it. It's the fake names of the movies. So this is weird. Yeah. The Andrew Garfield film, the fake film, had a London Tube sign, and the logo was London Calling. So I have that, and that was Amazing Spider-Man 2. And for Spider-Man Homecoming, in very Saved by the Bell font, they had this thing called Summer of George. And that was Homecoming, and that's signed by Tom Holland. And I go, those are my favorite, because it's just so effing weird. Like, what is that? Why did they sign that? Hello. This is the back of my head, Internet. Ooh, my problem is the character Moon Knight has progressed so far.
The question's about Moon Knight and the story that Dan might have done. Is that right? Yes. I had a pitch in my early years before I did Arkham. When I was the Ren and Stimpy guy, I was desperately trying to break in and do superhero stuff. And I sold the Punisher office on a 2-part Punisher Moon Knight crossover, 2-part bookshelf. We had Bill Sienkiewicz lined up to do the covers. Jimmy Palmiotti was gonna do the inks and possibly the pencils. We had a whole team ready to go, and the storyline, the Punisher office loved it. The Moon Knight office killed it. And it was when Punisher was way more popular than Moon Knight. And because a big part of the story dealt where you specifically saw a specific evil thing that Mark Spector did in his past, something truly awful. So the basic gag was Punisher and Moon Knight are teamed up and doing something in the present where that story is bubbling up. And at the halfway point,
Punisher learns of what Mark Spector did in the past, and that Moon Knight is Mark Spector, and it's something so unforgivable that Punisher wants to kill him now. And that was part 2. And the Moon Knight office killed it because they said we could do a massive change and keep it, was if we never showed you, like if it was like the briefcase from Pulp Fiction.
Right.
If we never showed you what evil thing Mark did, we could do the story. And like, if we never show you, there's no, heart. And they said, we don't want people to know Moon Knight was evil. We want him to know, in theory, he was evil. But if we ever show him doing something really evil, we feel the audience won't like him anymore. And I'm like, but he's the redemptive. So yeah. So the characters moved on, and there have been so many different iterations of Moon Knight. Like, I feel like, it's weird. I want to write the Doug Mensch, Bill Sienkiewicz era guy. And all the other characters in the 4 people he is, they all make sense with who he is as a person, in my mind, except for Jake Lockley, who's the cabbie. So I want to do a story where you find out there actually was a Jake Lockley and Mark Spector killed him.
Oh, that's good.
And who was Jake Lockley and what was his story? Yeah.
That's good.
Somebody on YouTube, a lot of love on YouTube.
You of all people are not gonna do it on a mic? What the fuck?
A lot of love on YouTube going on right now for you. Dan, they wanted to know about the No One Dies storyline.
Man, No One Dies is one of my favorites because I did it with Marcos Martin, who is, if I could, he's the one artist in all of the world where I would chain him in my basement and just draw everything I ever write. Like, so many people, like artists, fill a page with 1 million lines and doodles and squiggles. Marcos Martin finds the perfect line, and there's an economy of line. When we were doing our first job together, we had a house style where you start a scene, there's always going to be a locator caption telling you where you are or when you are. And Marcos Martin had drawn his pages so beautifully that you didn't need locator captions. You could just look at the pages and just tell everything that was going on. And I was halfway through scripting the issue, and I called up Marcos. He lives in Barcelona. And I called him up, and I was like, are you this good all the time? Because this is a 3-issue arc. And if you screw me on the second issue, the first issue is going to look weird with no locator captions. I'm going to stick locator captions on this anyway. And he's like, unless you tell me it's going to be like this. He's like, that's the way I work. And I'm like, I'm going to trust you. And it came out gorgeous. No One Dies was it was one of my best early Spidey stories. It dealt with half the J. Jonah Jameson's wife had just been killed the previous issue. So half the issue, completely silent story of the funeral for Marla and how everyone is feeling and how everyone is doing. And Peter failed to save her as Spider-Man. So you can tell everything that's going on. And by the end of the thing, Peter goes home and he goes to sleep. And the second half of the story is you're in the dreamscape, and it's Peter Parker dealing with every single person who has ever died in the pages of Amazing Spider-Man. All the death, and him dealing with it through dream logic. And it was just Marcos Martin drawing half the issue, a beautiful silent story, and half the issue, literally a dream. And it's, to this day, it's probably one of the best things I've ever done because I did it with Marcos Martin. Like, if I gave that to anybody else, it would have been terrible. He's amazing.
One more for Dan before we got to go on. Anybody? Yes. Tom, Andrew, or Toby?
It's like, who's your favorite children? You know, no, it's like... No, but well,
that's easier.
No, but like each guy has done something where it's hard for me to go like, that's one of the best Spider-Man scenes I've ever seen. Peter Parker at his greatest moment of need, asking God why, and God gives him chocolate cake. Is like, I love that so much, and Andrew for me was lagging until you hit No Way Home and he saves MJ. Oh my God,
That was
it's
beautiful.
One of the best scenes.
Yeah.
So I love Nicholas Hammond. We were buddies on Twitter. We would talk back and forth. He was great. He would come to Australia. I'd be like, oh, he was also Nicholas Hammond.
Mm-hmm.
He was the boy dating Marsha when she got hit in the face with the football.
Oh, my nose.
Shut
That's
up.
right. That's right.
Nicholas Hammond.
Oh, my nose.
And you can buy the Spider-Man 70s. They finally did an action figure Walmart coming out from Marble Legends. Woo!
Did they really? They did a Nicholas Hammond one?
Yeah, with
That's
the belt
dope.
outside,
Yeah.
one web shooter, and all the Spider-Man figures come with like plastic webs. He comes with rope.
That's dope. That's honor in the past.
Soup strainer eyes. It's the best.
All right, so fuck, marry, kill. Go ahead. Kevin Conroy asked for it. We got to go. We got to get it. Andrew, Toby.
Tom Holland,
and Tom.
obviously. And that Andrew Garfield feels so nice. And the guy from Cider House rules. Kill him. Just kill him. Fuck him.
The guy from Cider House
That
rules.
guy.
Deep
Fuck him.
cuts, man.
Fucking Seabiscuit.
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 Yeah. Fuck Seabiscuit.
Kids, you've had the absolute honor and the pleasure of listening to a master storyteller. Give it up for Dan Slott. Excellent job, Dan. If you're in the Los Angeles area tomorrow at Golden Apple, one of the greatest comic book stores on the planet, on Melrose, what time?
Melrose 11 to 2 and 4 to 6 at Manhattan Beach at the Comic Bug.
Manhattan Beach.
Fantastic.
Man, fucking thank you for safeguarding two characters that clearly we all so very deeply love, man. You're doing the Lord's work. Give it up for Dan Slott. Excellent job, Dan. Excellent. Fuck, man. That was some good shit, yes.
I mean, the only way to follow that up is Tushy.
Yeah. We got one more ad, kids.
One more fucking ad. We're going to blaze through this one.
Tushy, you know it, you love it. It wipes your ass for you, man. With water. They didn't write that copy. I just came up with that on the fly.
Fucking off the dome. Listen, give the gift of practical luxury that benefits everyone in your household. So go to hellotushy.com/fatman now to grab your deal before it's gone. And don't forget to give us a shout while you're there and let them know we sent you. Go to hellotushy.com/fatman for the best gift this holiday season.
Christmas is a time of clean sphincters, kids. So if you're struggling to get somebody something, I'm telling you, Tushy is the perfect gift. This is a gift most people won't think to buy for themselves and whatnot. If you give somebody a fucking Tushy, they're going to love you for life because it's so easy to fucking install. You don't need to bring in a plumber or anything like that. And the benefit is phenomenal. It does clean you right the fuck up. Never mind throwing your fingers down there anymore. The water jet is going to do that. Remember those painful moments where the paper breaks and you're like, God damn it. That don't happen. Now you just spread and fucking swirl and shit like that. Let the water clean you out.
Sit and spin, baby.
That's true, man.
Sit and spin.
Who wouldn't want that for Christmas? Again, a gift is something you don't think to give for yourself, man. You give somebody a Tushy, they're thinking about you every time they take a shit.
Installation is simple and takes about 10 minutes to complete.
It
Literally
is.
anybody can do it. It's also super fucking easy to use. Sit, do your business, then turn on the knob for a refreshing stream of clean water. And once you're done, pat dry. Don't rub, fucking pat that shit.
Yeah.
And people who have made the switch to Tushy use like 80% less TP. So clearly the embargo wars are coming once more. So fucking save your ass, save your toilet paper, save your money. HelloTushy.com/fatman for the best gift this holiday season.
These Tushy folks, they've been a sponsor of ours for a long time, man. Go to, what is the address? Tushy.com?
HelloTushy.com
HelloTushy.com.
/fatman for an undisclosed benefit.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's not in the copy, but
That's
they got to be
true.
given
They
to
won't
something.
tell you. It's a treat. Go to Tushy today, kids. Buy a Tushy for somebody for Christmas, man. Give the gift of Tushy. We thank Tushy for sponsoring Fat Man Beyond. Give it up for the good folks at Tushy, kids. Okay, we'll do some Q&A, but I got some shit to just give out, man. I was in a movie called Avengers Mission Demolition. It was a Lego movie. And I played Terax. I was the bad guy, man. It was fun as fuck to do. In any event, they sent me a box which has artwork from it, and it had cool shit in it, but I took it all out. Except for, look at this. It's a Lego Avengers popcorn bucket with all their characters, and then there's about 1, 2, 3, 4 things of popcorn in there, plus a cool-ass box that's got little Lego pieces in it.
Can you fuck that popcorn bucket?
Yes. Just like any good popcorn bucket, you can fuck it.
If it's not a fuck it bucket, I don't want it.
Who first hand that goes up gets it? Who wants it? Bang, come get it. It's all yours.
Oh. What is with your fucking Hawkeye peripheral vision?
I saw that, right?
It was amazing.
This is another thing I got sent to me, and it's from the folks at Warcraft from Blizzard.
Jesus.
Let me, here, why don't you open that? Let me tell you what it is based on this. It looks like it lifts off or something. Warcraft 30, man. Well met. This year, the Warcraft universe celebrates its 30th anniversary. That's 3 whole decades since the launch of Warcraft. Orcs and humans and the birth of Azeroth, the world we all share. As we celebrate this momentous milestone, as well as the 20th anniversary of World of Warcraft, the 10th birthday of Hearthstone, and the 1st anniversary of Warcraft Rumble, we'd like to take the opportunity to share some special commemorative items with you. Feel free to share this on social media or on your YouTube show, where we've encouraged our community to join the celebration using the hashtag Warcraft and the tag at Warcraft, at Play Hearthstone, and or at Warcraft Rumble on both Twitter and Instagram. Lastly, for the chance to experience the games that started it all, here is a code to unlock the Warcraft Remastered Battle Chest. Somebody just fucking came. Remastered
SpiderMan in his pants. Over there.
Battle Chest, which you can activate through battle.net. So there's a code here. Here's to the next 30 years. Can we? I thought somebody would open it while I was reading. Let's figure out what it is first for everyone else. How about fucking? Would you come up here and open this? You see me fucking struggling. I'm reading this shit, and you're both like standing there. Just open it up and show the fuckers at home. God damn it. This guy wants it fucking bad, man. What's in it?
Let's see. You've got.
Is this just more boxes?
There's more shit in it. Oh, there's like metal figures
fucking
and
statues and shit.
Ooh. There's that, and then he's got a weapon of some sort.
Is there
over
a new
here.
pair of pants for that dude in the corner?
There is Warcraft on floppy disk.
There's more. This box is full of stuff, man. There's 3 layers of shit.
All right.
Here's a little dragon of some sort. There is another dragon. Fuck, there's a lot of little dragons. What's that?
Ooh, it's a pretty shot. It's a tumbler. It's a World of Warcraft tumbler.
A glass, a tumbler. Oh my God, there's a fucking another layer, man. Oh, I guess maybe this is the base. Okay, so this is all one giant sculpture. That's the base, and then the guy goes in it, and then those little dragons go on top of him. Is there anything under this? No, that's it.
That's just box.
What do you got there, JC? Oh yeah, here's the sculpture, and here's directions on how to put it together.
There's like a pin or something, decoder ring. It looks like a Flash's decoder ring.
And what else?
Looks like a card, a 3D card. And then Warcraft on disc.
And this says, "Well met, champion," and it's got a wax seal on it.
Don't break the seal! Don't break the seal!
No, I got a prima nocta right. 30 years ago, a universe was born. Here's to you. We'll see you in Azeroth. And it's a celebration card and shit. All right, who likes this stuff?
More than that fucking dude?
Are you the one? Let's collect it all for him and put it in one fucking box. And let's see, how do you win this? What was your favorite Dan Slott story? Of the ones he told tonight. You were like, I wasn't listening. No, when he was standing up. The Spider-Man story? I like that too. You win the box. Come get your shit.
Not the dude with the fucking spider ham in his pants. Not that guy.
We thank the folks at Warcraft for sending this, and this guy really thanks. You fuck with Warcraft a lot? You fuck with Warcraft a lot?
Yeah, I do.
You're like, never heard of it.
Warcraft was dead. My life was a horse.
Oh, there you go. So you do fuck with it. Here, take the top box. That's my wallet. Don't take that. Fuck. I need that. We'll have a real war if that goes away. Give it up for him. What's your name? Yusef.
Yusef.
1. Give it up for Yusef. Well done, Yusef.
So now we're up to questions.
All right, now we do questions?
Now we do questions.
3 questions, and do we have 3 rounds of gifts and shit?
Three fucking, where's the
We got 40X down
where's
here
that
too.
Oh my God! Fucking kids! If you get to ask a question tonight, there's a Christmas booty to walk away with. Here in this 40X bag, JC's gonna open it up and tell us what's inside it, while me and Mark set up the rest of this shit.
All right.
There's also, what is this?
That is a Thrilljoy T-shirt.
Nice.
Of the Abominable Snowman. We have a Bumble from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer vinyl toy and a limited edition Thrilljoy hat.
Wow, man. And Mark tell him what this is.
Yeah,
Mark.
this is a graphic novel that I co-wrote with my buddy Adam over there in the corner called Census from Dark Horse. So we're giving away one of the trade paperback collections of said book.
And then, of course, you'll be getting tonight's artwork from the Dark Nate himself. Look at that beautiful piece. Signed by us
and a
both.
Jeff's Kiss sticker.
Look at that,
to
man.
go along with.
People are going to be winning some shit. And what's 40? Oh,
Tons of
Mufasa
stuff.
poster.
This is also one of the nice ones that's
it's
printed on both
double-sided.
sides.
Um,
Mufasa poster.
Sweet ass bag, 40X bag.
You've got
Probably some tickets.
Definitely some free tickets for 40X screens.
some Wicked.
Oh, so there's a Glenda crown and
Alphabet hat.
Alphabet hat. Very nice.
You've got oh my gosh, loaded us.
40X
Alien
is-
Romulus journal.
What is it? It's a notebook?
It looks like it's just a journal.
Journal.
To write in.
Nice.
Sugar, fuck that. I don't need no paper.
Tickets.
So you get some 40X tickets so you can go see a movie in 40X, which if you haven't yet, what are you waiting for?
A face hugger phone holder.
Let me see that.
Oh, shit.
What is that?
Phone holder, face hugger? I might have to pull that out of one of these bags.
Face hugger phone holder. Oh my God, man. Fuck, if you live long enough, they'll make everything.
40X phone kickstand.
Oh,
so you
shit.
can
Lay it on there. God, those 40X
40X
people.
hat, 40X t-shirt. Just keeps going.
It really does.
It's like mobile card holder. Oh, it's like a little wallet for the back of your phone. That's all of it.
40X, the good folks at 40X gave us a hell of a gift bag. We thank our buddy Deacon for dropping those off tonight. Okay. So put this back with that one, JC, with your bag. If you're one of the 3 questions, that means is it the hat lot, this lot, and that lot?
Indeed.
Done and done, man. So you're going to walk away with a bunch of shit, kids. But we don't get to go anywhere until JC gives us our questions.
All right. First question of the evening is Jesse Campbell.
Jesse! Give it up for Jesse!
I wish that I was Jesse's girl.
Excellent fucking jersey, man.
Thank you very much. In honor of our guest tonight, Dan Slott, who is a huge Doctor Who fan, I wanted to ask if you could pick any pulp culture character to be a companion to the Doctor, who would you pick and which Doctor?
Timey-wimey. I'd pick Any companion from across pop culture?
Batman and the Doctor, I guess.
Oh, I pick David Tennant, Doctor Who, and Dr. Buckaroo Banzai.
Ooh.
Not an assistant, two equals going into time battle. Or not battle, but you know what.
I choose the Matt Smith Doctor and
Dan Slott just came.
I know. He came and went. And Linus Van Pelt. I think
So there'll be a speech about Jesus at some point.
100%. But that's a kid who believes very deeply in the world around him, in the myth around him, in the fantasy that's the sort of fabric of reality. I feel like the TARDIS is the Doctor's blanket, and Linus knows what that life is all about.
Fair enough. Oh, then you could team up K9 and Snoopy. A pretty decent answer. Dan, you still here? Yeah. What would your suggestion be?
There's a certain kid from Queens who I think...
Would you get off that Spider-Man shit? Spider-Man and Doctor Who? That's right. Peter Parker. He wouldn't even have to be Spider-Man. He could just be Peter Parker because he's a scientist. There it is right there. That's the assistant Dan wants. Beautiful. Excellent job. Come pick out your win. Give it up for him, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, he's got something for Dan.
So, Dan, who would the Doctor be?
Which doctor?
I actually tried to make this happen for 5 years, and we almost got it through.
Which doctor?
It changed because it took 5 years.
Dan, this ain't reality. This is a what-if situation, Mr. Marvel. So, which one would? Who's your guy?
It's got to be
Tennant
Tennant.
for sure. I like Tennant too. Excellent job, man. Pick out. Look at this fucking thing.
T-shirt, doll, hat, and then everything else is the same.
Action figure, Mark.
Doll.
Don't forget the figure.
Don't forget your Jeff's kiss.
And a 40X bag. Fucking excellent job. Give it up for him, ladies and gentlemen. Well done. All right, JC, who we got next?
Kate Berezzo.
Kate, get your ass up here. Where are you, Kate? Kate, where are you from?
I live here in LA, but technically I'm from Washington State.
Oh, fucking A. Right on.
Where it's rainy. Glad to be here in LA, though.
Yeah, right.
Amazing.
So my question, looking back at your careers, who has been the most unexpected mentor you ever had? Someone who you didn't realize was teaching you until later.
Wow. Wow. Great question. I got two. One is Stan Lee. Never realized he was a mentor. Just thought I was a big fan. And putting him in Mallrats, of course, was like beneficial for me in the movie and shit like that. But we remained friends for the next 20 years. And he was the guy, he never sat me down and said, Kevin, I'm going to teach you things. Spider friend. But he, by example, this was a man who tub thumped for comics. He believed in the medium at a time when others, it's not that he didn't, not many people treated it seriously. It was a kid's medium. But then in the late 60s, early 70s and stuff, Stan kind of went out there and started being the ambassador to comics. I remember my father waking me up when I was like 9 years old going, Spider-Man's dad is on Good Morning America. And I got up and there was Stan Lee, a grown-up, older than my parents, talking about shit that mattered to me, about, you know, fucking comic books and Spider-Man and stuff. And most people of adult age back then didn't talk about that kind of shit. So he impressed me from a young age. But just being around him, and, you know, later in life, of course, hey man, do you remember this issue of Black Panther? He wouldn't remember. He'd written so much and it had been so long since he'd done it. But by living as the example of the ambassador of, the emissary of the thing that he loved, and it was also his work, that rubbed off on me. I definitely took pages out of his book for that. You got to believe in it first before anybody else can. There's a variation of that where, like, when I'll wear T-shirts with my face or my characters on them, and my kid thinks it's fucking cringe. But I'm like, I can't expect anyone to buy a fucking t-shirt with my face on it if I'm not willing to do that fucking first. And that was something that came from Stan. He didn't wear t-shirts of himself. But Stan, you know, he was a wonderful salesman, and that's also something that I was taught by Stan, something you have to be with your work. It's not enough to just do the work and let it sit there. Somebody got to get it to the marketplace. Somebody got to sell it, so to speak. In hockey, there's a term called sell the game. If you love the game, you sell the game. You sell it to everybody. Like, oh, have you ever been to a hockey game? It's the fucking fastest game in the world. It's amazing and stuff. Stan sold the game. And the game was comics, and the game was pop culture, and the game was fucking joy. So I took so many pages out of that guy's book. I was like, if there's anybody in this world, I'll never be Stan Lee. He was such a fucking prolific creator who populated an entire universe, of course, with help of great artists and whatnot. But in the way that he presented himself and sold himself to the public and worked as an ambassador for the things that he loved, that rubbed off on me, and I definitely paid like very close attention to that. So I would say Stan. The other one, to a far lesser degree, Alan Rickman, oddly enough. Yeah, just by virtue of the fact that boy, he believed in what. Same thing with Stan. He just really believed in what he was doing. It's exceptional when you see people who are great at something do their thing, and I got to see both of those dudes at a very close level do their thing. But Stan, never would have imagined he would be a mentor of some sorts. And again, it's not like I went over his house and he was like, today we're going to learn how to fucking write Mole Man. Nothing like that. But living example, and by being in my life on a regular basis, he rubbed off in a good way. You?
Not Stan Lee. Not because I have a problem with Stan Lee. Stan Lee's awesome. But I was a journalist for a very long time. I was a journalist for maybe 22 years or so. And the entire run of me being a journalist was also me wanting to do other shit. Me wanting to write comics, wanting to write movies, wanting to do television. And I moved to LA at this point now about 11, 12 years ago with the express purpose of using journalism as a cover to then be able to hop the fence and be able to make shit up for money, I kept on saying. Mm-hmm. And so I was interviewing not very many people. I never liked doing interviews, especially with famous people. They're the worst. But I love talking to writers. And so I had pitched a story on Damon Lindelof. At the time, he was having like the summer of fucking summers. I think like, the fuck was it? It was Tomorrowland was going into production. Star Trek II was coming out. He had lost all of like the body of work, but he was having one of those summers where a lot of things were happening at once. So I pitched it to the Hollywood Reporter. They was like, yeah, fucking go interview Damon Lindelof. So I spent like 3 days with him, and he's a writer in the same way that we're writers, in the same way that he still has imposter syndrome. He's still never sure if somebody's going to figure it out that he's a sham. He's never entirely sure that the things that he was writing were great, even though the world would tell him such. But he was broken the way that writers are broken. And so I, after 3 days spending with him, sent a very nice email. Thanks for everything, whatever. And then like 3 or 4 months later, I saw that there was a news item in Deadline of Variety saying that The Leftovers was picked up for a season on HBO. So I was like, this is unethical, probably counter every rule in journalism. But I sent him an email being like, hey man, would you read a pilot that I wrote and maybe consider me for staffing on this show? If you're a journalist, don't ever do that. It's super bad. Unless you don't care that much about being a journalist, you want to be a TV writer, then 100% do that. So he's like, all right, well, okay, send me a pilot. So I sent him the thing, and he was like, listen, I'm not going to hire you, not because you're not good. This is just, you're not the writer that I need for The Leftovers. The Leftovers is a very specific speed. You're writing pulp. That is tragedy. But all of this is like a Lindelof fastball. It's like, I love fucking car chases and time travel and all this, whatever. Like, you're my kind of nerd. And then I told him, I was like, listen, it means the world to me because I've been trying to do this for so long. I've been running up against every wall. I was thinking about just abandoning the quest. Like at some point, the dream meets reality. And you have to say, listen, I got a family to take care of. I have a decent job. I'm not in any way, wanting for ways to express myself. The brass ring just might be out of my hands. And he said, listen, you just have bad luck. It's not that you don't have talent. So now's not the time to give up. Now's the time to double down. And I said, oh, shit, all right. Okay, all right, I'll write one more thing. I'll write one more pilot, and if that doesn't go, then I tried my best. And that pilot got me staffed on Castle Rock, got me a manager, an agent, all of it. And it's only because he took a minute to say, you have quality. You have a chance. So keep going. And so he gently comes in and out of my life to check on me, see how I'm doing, but I never learned from him per se. I never studied at the foot of the master, but he was there when I was wavering. And he set me back on the path. So, yeah.
Fucking A, man.
All right, y'all. So we know, be like David Lindelof.
If you can, have a shelf full of Emmys and a vast fortune, and every now and again tell a kid, don't give up.
Come pick your prize. Excellent job. Give it up for her. Well done. And don't forget that's all you. JC didn't put it back in the bag. All right, last question. You guys taking off?
Bye, Dan.
Dan's leaving. Give it up for Dan, everybody. Excellent job, Dan. Excellent fucking job. All right, here we go, man. The final question of the evening.
Steven Nunez?
Steven, get your ass up here. Hey, give it up for Steven, everybody. Take us there, Steven.
Okay, so given the month that we're in, what franchise would you turn into a holiday special like Star Wars? And who would be your special celebrity guest?
Ooh. I kind of very badly want to see a Godzilla Christmas special. You know, the Santa Claus getting downed by radioactive clouds over Tokyo, who's got a fucking, he needs somebody to repair the fucking sled, so he turns to a swordsmith who has given up making weapons of war, Hattori Hanzo, who can repair the sleds on the fucking... Yeah, man, it's a samurai Christmas. Also starring Godzilla.
I like it.
With Sonny Chiba as the special guest star.
I would, if I were to, I could do an original thing, but first, if given my druthers, I would sequelize something that exists, hence making it a franchise. Because there's only been one, but it's one of my favorite Christmas specials of all time. But you could do another.
Go ahead. I'm
braced for impact.
Yeah.
It is Emmett Otter's Jug Band Christmas.
There you go.
You could totally do a 30 years later, you know.
They don't age.
That's it, man. They're puppets. So it's like you could track them down later on and do more of that story. Such a sweet fucking story. They only ever used those Muppets once. So if somebody could give me something, I would be like, I'd take that. Now, left to my own druthers, you know, naturally, my self-serving interests, Jay and Silent Bob, you know, Green Christmas would be amazing. But I think I might like fuck more people up with a very Tusky Christmas, where he's still at the little fucking pen and shit, and his Christmas wish is to be a real live boy again. And so it's about him, you know, getting out of the walrus suit. And who would be our special guest? Victor Garber. I gave up on that motherfucker. Who would be our special guest? Johnny Depp. Well, we've worked with him. You know, just because, I mean, in a world where it's a Christmas special and you can cast anybody as a special guest, you know, I'll never get a chance to work with them. Robert Downey Jr. would be my special guest. He would play, like, you know, in the Rankin Bass specials, like the fucking mailman and shit who's narrating. He would be that guy. He'd be narrating the whole thing and be like, that wasn't good enough for Mr. Tusk. He had no poo hole and shit like that. That's what I would do.
I mean, there's the Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, but starring Mr. Tusk.
That's true.
Because...
where he leads the fucking...
deviance will not be tolerated unless it can be exploited.
That is the point of that story.
100th point.
Oh, my God.
You're the worst until we need you.
That's an important life lesson, isn't it?
Isn't it, though?
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe that helped in life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I might have gotten where I got in life because of that lesson, which is like, they have no use for you unless you have a purpose.
Unless it can be exploited.
Yeah, truly. That was a great question. Come get your fucking prizes.
I also have a postscript.
You have a postscript? Fuck yeah.
Me and my girlfriend have a gift for you and Mark.
Oh, all right. What's the gift? What is it? We open. It's both of us?
Oh, shit. Is it vegan?
It is vegan.
It's fucking vegan? Oh, my God. All right, let me open it.
I need butterfat. Is there like bacon sprinkles on it? Something for me. It's a human head. It's a pygmy head.
Do you see how like fucking useless I am? Where like 9 times tonight I was like, somebody do this.
All right.
Ooh, what is this shit? Oh my God. Stuffed PB.
All right, hold
Peanut butter, strawberry jam filled. What the fuck, man? Where'd you get this?
We have a bakery.
You make it?
In downtown.
What's the bakery called?
Peanut Butter and Jenny.
Aww. Peanut Butter and Jenny?
That's so cute.
Are you Jenny? That's adorable. How long you kids been in business? Since 2019? Are you kidding? I'm going to fuck with this so hard. What else do you guys do?
Oh, we do all kinds. I'm a specialty bakery, and so my niche is that... Oh, can I take that? Thank you so much. So I'm Peanut Butter and Jenny. Oh, yeah, sure. Hi, guys. So I'm Jenny, and then those cookies are from my bakery, Peanut Butter and Jenny. And so we are in downtown LA in the Arts District, and we do cookies and cakes and all types of baked goodies, but we do classic vegan, gluten-free, and sugar-free options.
So you do everything, even non-vegan stuff as well.
Yeah, non-vegan, vegan, a combination. So like some are vegan, gluten-free. We switch our menus often. We do fun stuff like peanut butter jelly cookies, s'mores cookies.
What is
all
it?
types.
How joyful is it to cook, or is it a pain in the ass?
It's both. Absolutely, yeah. Like no one tells you how heavy everything in a bakery is. Everything's in like 50-pound sacks of flour and sugar. But I'm working with chocolate and sugar and like making people happy and celebrate birthdays, and I love it. It's
That's
great.
total fucking Wonka right there.
Have you thought about a satanic name for your
Yeah,
bakery?
what about...
Yeah, you know...
That's all the rage now.
I didn't realize that it was that popular, but obviously I need to like break into the satanic realm.
Yes, you're missing... There's a whole market you're missing.
Just devil's food.
I know.
And Jenny.
If I get a Salt Lake location.
This is fantastic. I will give Mark one, but I will keep the rest. Peanut Butter and Jenny's the place, and you're downtown. Do you have a physical location to go into?
I do, but it's I do online orders for pickup, and then I also on the weekend I'll also do pop-up events. And
Where do you do pop-ups?
All over. If I can drive to it, I'll do it. So I do a lot of LA events, of course, because we're LA based, but we go up to Vegas. We'll go Riverside, the Inland Empire. We'll go to San Diego. We'll go anywhere.
Fucking hey, man.
I'm
Yes.
just tithing.
That's your one, yes. Look at this. Here, hold that up for the camera. Look how it's thick as a dick. Not mine, but somebody's fucking dick.
Yeah.
Look at that.
We only do thick, huge, ridiculous, fun flavors, because it's for thick, fun, ridiculous people.
That's fucking awesome, man. Give it up for Peanut Butter and Jenny. Excellent job, kids. Thank you.
Of course. Enjoy.
And take your booty, man. You won.
You hold this back here.
Yes. Don't fucking leave those.
I mean, listen, if it stays back there too long.
Right.
I mean, you know.
You can have another one if you like.
Have I been good?
Yes. It's Christmas.
You can have one more.
Oh my God, we ran out of show. Do you have any more show, BAMF Man?
I don't think so.
What time did we start?
8:20.
So it's been a 3-hour show?
Yeah, just shy.
Pretty fucking awesome. We won't get to do one more hour. We won't get to do this live again until next year. But we'll probably do another show online before the end of the year, or
potentially either before
or at the beginning of the year to do the top 10 list.
Yeah.
But before we do get out of here, kids, it's not just our show; it's your show. Anybody have any unfinished business this year that they would like to take care of before we get out of here? Yes.
I do want to say, Mark, you're a WGA member.
Yes, I am.
I work at the theater. You need to come through, man.
I will happily. Can I program some shit at the theater?
I don't know about that, but you can.
Boy, you fucking reached right away, man.
She's
like, come to the theater. You're like, give me a job. She's like, fuck that.
Just fucking pump the brakes.
Form a subcommittee with one of the committees
All right, so I got to talk to like the black writers, or the sci-fi writers, the whatever. All right, because I got a lot of intersectional. We're writers. We love attention. Never get it. All right, I will. Promise. Fair.
Go. Happy birthday!
Congrats.
40 years old. Holy fuck. You know how hard it is to stay alive in this fucking impossible world? Well done. Well,
I mean,
still, regardless, you hit it, man.
Also, Mark, I just wanted to say that thank you so much for making Adora, because I loved Adora. I cried at the end of it.
Oh, thank you.
I cried at the end of it because I grew up, I still am. I'm on the spectrum. I'm an autistic person. And growing up in the 90s, it was really hard because nobody recognized that. You know, they didn't know what was wrong with me. And so I just wanted to say thank you so much for writing that book, because, hey man, if there's a fire in my house, I'm grabbing that book. That means so much to me, because having you write that story made me feel seen, really seen. So thank you so much.
Thank you,
Kevin.
Adora, and for those at home, Adora in the Distance is Mark's book,
Yes.
which they can
Yes,
get
great.
on the Dark Horse website or at
Indeed.
a comic book store near you. Go.
Real quick, I just want to say I met you once before in front of John Lovett's thing. I was walking my bike, and then we went on stage. A couple days later, I went on stage with my brother, and it was a really fun time. Congratulations for losing the weight, and also, what was I going to say? I got stoned before coming here, but
it's the only way the show works.
I grew up in Minnesota, and I went to Eden Prairie Mall. I have a really short story. I was an original mall rat.
Holy shit!
And I have a really short story. I went with my best friend to the mall, and we were Jay and Silent Bob. We went to the mall and we hung out, and then when my dad dropped us off at the mall, he leaned out the car, and he goes, "Have a good afternoon, mall rats." And we had never seen your movie, didn't know who you are or anything like that. So we went and we hung out in the mall. We did all those things. We did basically everything we did in Mallrats, or you did in Mallrats. Anyway, we got picked up, and then we went to our local video store, and it's called Mr. Movies.
Okay.
And we went and we looked around for all these movies, and my friend pulled out Mallrats, and he goes, "Hey, dude, your dad called us this earlier today. We should watch this." And so, I went home, and then when we put it on, we were, in Twilight Zone. We're like,
That's
what
the mall!
That's the mall!
Yeah.
We were just there!
That's so fucked up.
Anyway, that was cool.
That was wild, man. Thank you for that. Give it up. That's great.
Anybody want to, propose to somebody?
Yeah.
Now's the fucking time. No. We're like, no!
You got engaged? Oh! Oh my God, when you get married, wait till you see how fun sex is. It's part of the best part of marriage. Congratulations. And you did it at the park?
Yeah, with lightsabers. We made our own lightsabers. The whole Star Wars, everything. So, yeah.
Were you expecting it or no? No. Total surprise?
He was like, I love you. And she goes, I know.
This is them? Oh my God, how sweet. Look at that.
Oh, fucking rascals.
Fucking A, man. It's a wonderful institution. You'll enjoy it. Anybody else? I mean, literally an institution. Yes, in the back.
I finished some work. I can't really talk about specifics, but I hope everyone watches Invincible Season 3.
Hey! First 2 seasons have been fire, man. And you can hear from their action, I'm sure.
I can't talk about it, but here's the show that I just talked about.
Anybody else got anything they want to get off their chest? Yes.
Are you going to keep using Johnny Depp's character in Tusk?
Am I going to keep using Depp's character in Tusk? If we do a Tusk sequel, you mean? Well, here, the easiest way to answer that is I think Moose Jaws and the Tusk sequel are the same thing now. So make of that what you will.
So no. Or yes.
We'll see. We'll see. Moose Jaws took a big jump in the last month. It's crazy. Yeah, it took 10 years, but I think we may be there. Never give up, kids. Never give up on a stupid idea.
Never surrender.
Never surrender. Which one? Tusk. You were the one? Fuck. Always wanted to meet you. All right. Anybody else got anything they want to? Yes. Oh, thank you. It terrified her? I hope it left an impact, man. Awesome, thank you. I heard Jordan was just on a phone call about it the other day, so I think we're going to hear something in the first few months of 2025. So that's when they'll announce it, and then it'll be probably the following year. For those who are like, what? We did Cruise Askew this year, February, with me, Jay, Mark, was a bunch of cats. It was a good fucking time.
It was a blast.
So we're going to do it every other year, it looks like, fingers crossed. Yes.
So this is kind of an advertising / humble brag. Everyone see 430 movie. It's amazing.
But tell them why. Tell them why.
Because this year I got to work on my first Kevin Smith movie.
Tell them what you did.
I designed, 3D modeled, and animated the Beaver ship.
A shot so good, we put it in the trailer. Pretty awesome, man. Thank you. Yes.
Will you reprise your role as Terrax in the MCU?
Oh, if they ask me, absolutely. Oh my God, they could be like, we want you to cut your own dick off on camera in the MCU, and I'd be like, yes. I don't need this anymore, but I've always wanted to be in a Marvel movie. Where do we go? Yes. I mean, I got to direct, what did I do? 3 Flashes and 4 Supergirls or something. At one point, like, because I'd written Green Arrow seemed to make sense. Like, oh, I've done enough CW shows, I should pop over to Green Arrow as if it was my choice. And I was disabused of that notion. I was told, like, yeah, you're more of a Legends guy. Which I also didn't get to do. But no, I was happy that I got to play in the universe at all, man. I loved doing both Flash and Supergirl, particularly Supergirl. She's just absolutely wonderful, Melissa. So yeah, no, nothing. I mean, I liked what they did with, what was it, Superman and Lois. Like, I thought it was wonderful, and they stuck the landing on the finale. It was fantastic. But no, honestly, like, as much as I enjoyed doing them, like, I have no patience for shit like that. That's why I know I could never do, like, a big-ass comic book movie, because they take fucking months. We only shot those shows for 9 days. 8 of them were production. 1 day was green screen. And by day 6, I was like, is this still happening? Like, we're not fucking done yet? Like, some shit takes longer. When you're shooting dialogue, it's real easy. When, motherfucker has to solve problems by running real fast, like, that takes some time and stuff. So I don't really have the patience for that kind of stuff. I was happy I did it and the experience, but it was never anything that, like, called to me, especially even beyond that. Like, I was glad I got to do CW things, because I never thought I wanted to do big fucking comic book movies, but after those, I was like, I wouldn't have patience for that. Like, I remember talking to the Russo brothers, and they were on those fucking Avengers movies for like 3 years. And they're wonderful fucking movies. I'm glad they made them, but like, I don't want to do anything for 3 years straight, No. No, those things are just beyond. Like, I love comic book movies and TV shows, but I don't have the need to make it or want to make it. I also don't have the ability and the talent and stuff. It takes a certain mindset, and I'm just not bullshit. Like, it's not me even being modest. Like, I watch a lot of that shit. I consume a lot of that media, and oftentimes I'm like, oh, I would never have thought to do that. I would never have thought to do that. It was a great shot. I never would have thought to do that. I wouldn't compose like that. So I'm not the guy for that stuff, but I am the guy that you want, like, talking about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think that's how the studios feel too. They're like, don't direct, just talk about our movies. And it's worked out nicely. It's a mutually beneficial relationship. Yes, where else do we want to go?
I got my SAG card. Can I be a Dogma too with background?
Yes, you can. Done and done. You got your SAG card? Give it up for him, man. That's hard. Excellent job. Yes. I don't have to make the movie. We're just going to live it. Where do we go next? Yes.
So, Randall has a Somewhere City card on his wall in Clerks 3, and I was wondering, are you a fan of Origami Angel?
He has a what on his wall?
He has a postcard that
No, but it doesn't mean I don't like them. It just means that like the production designer was like, I'm gonna put this here, and I was like, I don't bump into that at all, and it went there. So what are they? They're a band. Right on.
Good for everybody involved.
Yeah. I hopefully they liked being in the flick. Some people like don't. Oh, fucking cool. Very cool.
Making dreams come true by accident.
I know. Look at that. All right. Yes. Yes. Masters of the Universe? That has to do with two companies that own two different characters that need to find a way to play nice with one another in order for that to work. Oh my God, thank you. That was so sweet. We enjoyed when we got to work on it. It was good times, man. And it's not. We'll see what happens. But anybody that knows that world knows. There's Masters over here. There's She-Ra over there, and never the twain shall meet, even though they all came from the same place. What's that? Yeah, but I mean, but She-Ra and Masters of the Universe all in the same universe, but for some reason they're not allowed to play with each other because DreamWorks owns She-Ra and Mattel owns Masters of the Universe. So the next story was I can't. You know what? I can't say anything more.
Shut up.
Yeah. They're working on things. I probably just lost the fucking job, man. All right, where else we want to go? Yes. How'd that happen? Oh, fucking A. When we did the pilot thing? Fucking A. Oh, fuck. Could have left that part out, but yes. That would have been. I wish that, of course, would have went me on a pilot, man. It was good. It was good times, man. But it was so nice because Ralph. I mean, look, I love Adam West, but Ralph got Adam West his star, like on the Walk of Fame. Like he's dyed in the wool, hardcore. His mom made him a Batman suit fan. So having West come on to the show, and that was Ralph's bit. Ralph had an idea for a bit, which is West on West. So Adam West read Kanye West lyrics like out loud, and it was really kind of sweet, and it was nice to Adam was funny to begin with, but it was nice to see like Ralph be able to do that for his hero, his mentor. I just wish we could have kept going with it. But good seeing you, man. Yeah. There's a Kanye West song that Jay is featured at the beginning of, which they pull a line from Dogma, and it was, for a minute we were all like, "Is that legal?" And then the people that bought Dogma had made a deal with Kanye, and I mean I'm probably not supposed to say this, but Jay gets a little taste because it's his voice. And instantly I was like, well, I wrote those lines. That don't fucking matter. All right, anybody? Yes.
I've got a question. Is Dogma going to come out on 4K Blu-ray anytime soon?
Not anytime soon, but next year for sure. There's a nice fat fucking Blu-ray coming, and a steel book. Oh, yes. First, we're going to take the movie out, though. Next year, we're going to tour Dogma, like I've toured Jay and Silent Bob Reboot and Clerks 3, so we'll take it all around and stuff. Yeah, it's going to be fun. We're going to bring the fucking 1999 back next year. Buddy Christ, the year of Buddy Christ, who still exists. You can go see him at Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash, man. The Buddy Christ statue has been in the store all this time, and I'm 54 now, and of course we age in one direction and shit. And I'm starting to make plans for when I fucking die. I want to get cremated and stuffed up to Buddy Christ's ass so that people will still go to the store because that'll be my tomb and shit like that. My wife, Jennifer, was like, we're not going to be buried together. I was like, I'm going to be buried with Jay. And she kicked me out of the bed. Ladies and gentlemen, have you had a good time this evening? Ladies and gentlemen, have you had a good time this year? That's because some folks do the heavy lifting, and me and Mark just do the fun stuff and whatnot. You don't see him. He's in the other room. Give it up for Andrew, everybody. You don't see him, but he's at home making sure that you can watch us on Facebook and on YouTube and whatnot. Give it up for Will Wilkins, everybody. You see him, you know him, you love him. You're here in his fucking bar, man. Give it up for BAMF Man himself, J.C. Give it up for the fine staff here at the Scum and Villainy Cantina. Always making sure you're taken care of. But kids, there is no show without the guy standing to my left. Give it up for Marvelous Marc Bernardin. And that, my friends, is Fat Man Beyond for this year. Tune in next time. No, wait, what did I miss? I'm Kevin Smith.
I'm Marc Bernardin.
Tune in next time. Same fat time, same fat channel. Smodcast.com or
YouTube.com/Kevin Smith.
Jeff's Kiss, everybody. Merry Christmas. Mwah. Happy holidays. This is from the cat. Greetings, everybody, and welcome to the AKA Ask Kev Anything. Every saga has a 10-year anniversary, ladies and gentlemen, and this is what happens when Jay and Silent Bob get old. I'm Kevin Smith. Cheers,